Folks, welcome to an all-new episode of SOBAD. It's good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Thursday episode. This is going to be a two-parter, okay? And we're going to be talking all about the Valley. Do not groan. I get it. I understand. I'm right there with you. We can study this show, though. And also, the show is still weirdly comic if it wasn't so damn scary. And yes, there is a huge problem named Jax Taylor. I even think he is aware of this at this point. So this first part is going to be a recap of the episode, my stupid, silly voices and my little thoughts. And then the second part, we are going to delve into, I usually don't do a lot of detective work, but we will be going over Jax's rehab facility because it has now been named. We will be going through that. We'll be going through every person that his burner account followed before he deleted all of the people that he followed once he realized this made it to air. I'm sorry to laugh, but it is just, some of these things are just so ridiculous. And I guess the most frustrating part, and by the way, if you are a member of the cast of The Valley, don't listen to this. Please don't, practice self-love. Don't listen to this. This is for us. This is for me. This is for you guys. And you're just going to get upset. Jax, I'm talking to you. You are going to get upset. I think there's so many frustrating things. First off, obviously, I think everybody, even if you like her as a character, if you don't, want Brittany's safety. This man, it has gone from in 2013, when we first met Jax Taylor on Vanderpump Rules, like I always say, each episode of this recap of the Valley is that it was different. You know, when people are in their 20s and 30s and they're working at a bar and you're like, oh God, to be young and dumb and all of, but now we are so far removed from that time where there are such real life consequences and there are now kids involved. And that's why, it's like, this is such a... Kate Arthur, we're going to go over the article she wrote in Variety on the second part of this, but she compared it to almost Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is a deep cut if you are a theater lover or perhaps have seen the movie with Elizabeth Taylor. You will know how accurate that is, but it's just a bunch of drunks fighting. And that's somehow what the Valley has turned into, or maybe it's always been that way. But I think having made fun of Jax for so many years, and you come to a place, which I think we've arrived at, where you're legitimately scared of what he possibly could do. And he has nobody to blame but himself. I mean, I guess you could blame an edit, but no, I mean, there's so much evidence of Jax Taylor and how he moves through the world. And my God, I really hope for his sobriety journey. I still think, obviously, and he keeps telling us, whether it be on Watch What Happens Live or the show or the after show, is that, I got a rage problem. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. And I hope that he does remain sober, and I hope that he is getting the best therapy because, my God, you go in 30 days to a mental health facility / rehab center, which I believe he told them that he was going in for anger issues and nothing to do with coke and alcohol. And we're going to go over that. Because there's just so many little juicy pieces of information. And the scary thing is he's done so many interviews where he directly contradicts himself and any of this process. And remember, this was only the first rehab he went to. He went through another rehab center in November of this past year after the second season of The Valley stopped shooting. And this isn't something I uncovered. This is just directly from Jax in his interview on the Hot Mic podcast with Alex Baskin. But it's like there are darkly comic moments still with Jax Taylor, but at the end of the day, is it worth how scary he is towards Brittany? And, for every right thing that he knows how to say or communicate or I'm sorry or this or that, he undercuts it immediately, usually in the second sentence. And then with all of the rage texting that we've seen, unless you are of the camp of, oh, they're just making all this up for reality TV. I mean, it's a really effed up problem. And I do think that Jax's job is on the line. And what's such a bummer is that this shouldn't have even been a job to begin with that you could go back to. It's like, and that's the scary thing to think about. And I'm sure Jax gets scared thinking about it, is the time in which he was fired from Vanderpump Rules until the Valley started. They try to project an image of, oh, our life is good. We didn't need it. I have all these separate businesses. But then the reality of that was, no, it wasn't. He wasn't paying his bills. He had a huge tax bill. He had all of these things coming down on him, where the biggest life preserver or life saver for him would be back on reality television. And then he does this. And like I said way back in the day, when they first announced the Valley, this is a huge mistake. It will ruin this family, that he goes online and says how much he loves this family. And in reality, he was miserable. And I think being miserable comes from a very deep, dark place that you cannot fix in 30 days. You can't fix it in 6 months. You can't fix it in a year. You have to undo so many patterns. And still at the end of the day, there is something, like I have moments of this where I'm just like, oh, there are moments where I'm like, oh, I have every reason to be happy. And I'm not happy. You guys might feel that as well. But I don't go on violent rampages like he's exhibited. And at a certain point, you are not untouchable. And I hate to break it to Jax Taylor, this is no longer his show. It might have got started where he was the name, but no longer. And it's not because he went to rehab for 30 days. It's because people are at a point where they are exhausted of this man. It's like, yeah, we can dunk on him. It's funny. It's to like dunk on his lies and all of this stuff. But then there's a very real life element where I'm like, if the show presents him this way and he presents himself a certain way, even outside of the show on podcast, his internet use, all of this stuff, then how are we to trust that he is not going to do something on a bad night if he feels, and the fucked up thing, you guys, sorry, I'm just kidding. The fucked up thing is, everybody's in a pickle here, not us, but like the show is in a pickle. Because if they do let this man go, one, you have to worry about him signing up for like the reality reckoning and saying how, trying to sue. I would imagine that would go through their heads. And two, if he does get let go from this show, then I would worry even doubly for Brittany. It's like, how dare you? Because he will not blame himself. He will. And by the way, every time he blames himself, he usually undercuts it with something about Brittany. And that will fall on Brittany. And that's the scary behavior I'm talking about. And the thing is, I always said, man, like, oh, he's just great reality television. And I meant that. But great reality television, when it gets to a point where you are legitimately questioning in your head, wow, could this man do something on a bad day? Could this man, And like I always say, is reality television isn't a place to heal oneself. You are not going to heal yourself on reality television. And I hate to use her as an example because I hate what she did, but Rachel, the artist formerly known as Raquel Leviss, she went to that mental health facility. I think she might have toyed with for a minute about coming back to reality television. She had her podcast and then she walked away. I think she's playing like sound bowls and crystals now and stuff, but great. Stay away from reality television. And when you do, you have a better chance at actually having a fulfilling life, I would guess. You might be poorer, you might not be as wealthy, but you have a better chance at an actual life. And at this point, it's like this trade. Like if Jax gets let's go, what does he have? What brand deals is coming in for Jax Taylor? You see Brittany with brand deals right, left, all over the place. But where would Jax go from here? And the thing is, he would not be able to answer this honestly because he just kind of spews lies of like, oh, I got this. No, that's not true. And so at this point, if a third season happens with Jax, let's bring the fun back to the Valley. Was the Valley ever fun? And also, I think this show is so intense, but it's also a direct reflection of the times that we live in. I think we are all, or at least I am inarguably angry at the state of the world at the things that I see going down, the unfairness of certain things that I see. And so when I watch The Valley, I come in already angry, and the show gets me angrier. And yes, that's what I mean. We're going to have, I swear to God, we will have fun with this recap in certain scenes. We will, because there's a ridiculousness to it that is so hard to explain. But I think we are angry as an audience right now. That's just something that I'm just speculating, or at least I can speak from my own experience. Or even that's why, you know, we're so passionately, a fraction of us are into Love Island USA, which, by the way, Love Island USA is taking off in the streaming ratings even more so than last season. Because last season brought so many people in that it was already had so many more new people watching from the beginning. And now, since everything's been talked about, memed about, all this stuff, we've had so many new viewers come in. Like I have anything to do with this. You know what's great, what we did? No, but there is so many new viewers on top of the viewers that came back for this season that they almost went head to head last night. And if they did go head to head, the Valley would be left in the dust because of Love Island USA. Now, I think when all is done and finished and you add streaming numbers into it, Valley will come out ahead. And it's not a competition. It turns out there's a lot of tragedy that you can spread out tragedy through many reality TV shows. I don't know. I've thought about this nonstop for the last I've thought about this nonstop, which, by the way, how are you guys doing? I didn't even get to say my normal. I hope you're doing good. Sorry. I just got finished watching The Valley again, watching The Valley After Show again, and watching Jax's appearance on Watch What Happens Live again. So I am fired up. And I just feel like, oh, schmuck. I just keep hearing my mom's voice when she would like yell at me or something like, you schmuck, like, come on, man. You had you had the gift of a mental health facility. And how do you come out angrier? How do you come out and within the first couple minutes, you are more threatening or as threatening as when you went in? That's not a good reflection on anything. And by God, the fact that he said this mental health facility's name on Watch What Happens Live last night, which, by the way, I do know they talked about it at the reunion, but I don't think we're going to see that. Who knows? But I think, wow, this poor mental health facility is probably getting a lot of attention or will be getting a lot of attention. And the thing is, they got scammed like a lot of, because he just lied to them. He lied to them. They're like, no, I'm not doing anything on my phone. Yeah, no, I'm just watching porn. I'm just watching TikToks. I'm all good. And he's like, rage text. And it just sucks because it's like, dude. And that's the thing. That's what mental health, which I believe he truly has a mental health problem, is that no matter, he's a good looking guy. If he kept his nose clean, literally and figuratively, he could make a paycheck and put away more money than most of us will see in a lifetime. He has a beautiful son. He had Brittany at one point. He seems like he's still charming enough to have this weird group of friends, which we'll get into that because I don't really fully understand the any of the friend groups anymore. But yeah, like at the end of the day, what I think Jax should be scared of is that the Valley does not need Jax. And there are other fucked up people on the Valley. And fucked up people on the Valley where I do not have to worry about them. They might mentally abuse the other people or their friends, but I'm at a place when I watched him this past week where I just got nervous. I got nervous for Brittany. I did. I know I'm a wussy, but I did get nervous. And, you know, an abuser can tell you till they're blue in the face that they won't do anything. They got it under control, but you can't have if you are mentally unwell, you cannot have your emotions under control. You just can't. I'm so sorry. You have to work at that. That is an everyday thing. And, you know, he's, what is he, 46, 47? You know, that is so many decades of a certain way of thinking. And he is not only, the thing is, I think he's angrier at us, at Brittany, at Bravo, way more than he is angry at himself, if that makes sense. It's all of our faults. And it's only a little bit his fault. So anyways, welcome to the show, folks. Glad to have you here. This is going to be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'll do a Brittany imitation. Maybe that will make you laugh. I got to tell you, though, Brittany, about 5 to 10 years, or maybe in a year from now, she is going to need some intensive therapy because I have a feeling this is going to catch up to her. Guys, I am not big on trends, but I am big on clothes that feel good and last. I keep things for years at a time, and that's why I keep going back to Quince. Their lightweight layers and high-quality staples have become my everyday essentials. I use this stuff, and you should too. In fact, I pulled out, for those of watching on YouTube, my beautiful navy breathable Quince sports jacket. Are you kidding me? I just wore it this week. In fact, I lost a couple LBs so I could finally fit back into it. I'm so excited. Quince has all the things that you actually want to wear this summer, like organic cotton silk polos, European linen beach shorts, and comfortable pants that work for everything from backyard hangs to nice dinners. And the best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. If you don't believe me, go directly to their website. They work directly with top artisans and cut out the middleman. Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markups. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabric and finishes. Guys, I even have socks from Quince. I love the color navy blue. I have like a navy blue button-up shirt. I've bought jewelry from Quince for my sister. Everybody gets something from Quince if you're in my life. So stick to the staples that last with elevated essentials from Quince. Go to QUINCE.com/SOBAD for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/SOBAD to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/SOBAD. Have you ever walked into a grocery store and you had no idea what to get? I do that all the time. So I've stopped wasting time at the grocery store and I stopped staring at their gigantic wall of wines. I never knew what to pick, and that's why I love our next sponsor, Naked Wines. They are amazing. This podcast is sponsored by Naked Wines. It's 2025. Do you still shop for wine like it's 2005? Naked Wines is a service that directly connects you to the world's finest independent winemakers so you can get award-winning wine delivered straight to your door. Use our code SOBAD for the code and password at nakedwines.com and get their incredible deal of 6 bottles for just $39.99. We just cracked open a bottle a couple weeks ago and we were like just playing a bunch of music and it was the most perfect night and I didn't even have to leave my home. And all you have to do is go on their website and you even fill out what you like and they send you a beautiful selection. With no commitments or membership fees, you can enjoy Naked Wines hassle-free. And don't forget, this is huge. You can pause or cancel at any time. So just because you got a trip coming up doesn't mean you can't enjoy Naked Wines before or after that much-needed vacation. So now is the time to join the Naked Wines community. Head to nakedwines.com/SOBAD, click Enter Voucher, and just put in my code SOBAD for both the code and the password for 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 with shipping included. Are you kidding me? Shipping's included? That's $100 off your first 6 bottles of wine at nakedwines.com/SOBAD and use the code and password SOBAD for 6 bottles of wine at $39.99. Guys, this is a no-brainer. You got to do this. I have a feeling because there is a lot going on and my God, her ability to just laugh, like to just break into a smile and laugh at things. I'm just like, holy shit, I'll have whatever you're having. Like she'll be like, he did this to me. And then the next will be like, ha ha ha. And I'm like, good for you. My God. I would be like, take the cameras away, just put them away. Do not film me. Do not even show. Like it's that kind of, So yeah, that's where we're going to start. Okay, are you with me? Will you stick with me? I know it's a dark subject matter, but the show itself, there are so many ridiculous moments. So let's get into it. And part two By the way, you also don't have to, and that's the other thing I wanted to remind people. I saw so many, I put a TikTok of that article and so many comments. Maybe I'll read some in the second part. Everything was like so dark, not going to watch it. We'll never watch it again, or I can't watch it anymore. And I will say that's where you have power. If you don't like something, don't watch it. Don't feed into it. And I almost get scared when people comment this much because remember, at the end of the day, shocker, these are corporations. Bravo is owned by a corporation, a corporate overlord, where they do care about margins. They do care about click-through and ad rates and all of these things. And the more they see people talking about something, like I'm a part of the problem, is that you're like, well, listen, it's not good, but my God, are they talking? They're feeling something. And that makes me nervous because then it's like, oh, but see, I just feel like at this point you've gotten to a place, if you are Bravo or the production company or NBC Universal, you'd be a little nervous of like, well, what is this guy capable of doing? And just because you have loyalty to somebody because they've been with you in some form since 2013, I don't know. You know, if Jax had come, I keep trying to even argue with myself. Like, it's like the bargaining, like I'm bargaining with myself. Like, what if he came out of there 30 days, he hadn't rage texted, and we really did see the beginnings of a person? What if we really did see the beginnings of somebody that just was so scared of where they are in life and how they've always felt? Would we feel differently? But we don't see that. We're not seeing that. And the thing is, what he really fucked himself over by doing is doing any podcast where he talks right now, or even going on Watch What Happens Live, where it's almost like, spoiler alert, he's still angry. I mean, did you see it? There was just anger bubbling under the surface. And I can even say, I want the best for Jax Taylor, but my God, I wouldn't want to risk Brittany ever getting hurt. And this isn't about like, oh, I'm a Brittany stan. No, I'm a fucking human being. Like, that's a mom with a kid that seems like she has really been mentally abused. I mean, definitely yelled at. I mean, a chair was thrown. Thank God nothing else. I don't know. I'm just kind of at a loss, and I keep thinking about it. But the thing is, there are all of these other cast members of the Valley as well. And they all got skeletons, and they're all covering something up. Each one of them has issues. And I think that's like the thesis statement of the Valley. Like, move to the Valley where you still have issues. We all do, you know? It's like wherever you look, there's something. And that's why I keep saying the Valley doesn't need Jax Taylor. His spirit will always be there. The spirit of Jax Taylor will always be there. I don't know. Give him a spinoff show where he like moves to Alaska or something. I don't know. But here we go. This is already the weirdest episode ever. Okay, this episode 10. Oh my God, we're only 10 episodes in. It's called You've Been Served. And the description the cable company gives us says, the tension between Nia and Janet comes to a head. How is that your lead? What? Lead with the Jax stuff. But yeah, that happens in this episode too. And then it says, Jax is blindsided by a special delivery. And then immediately the episode starts. And remember, the end of last week's episode is that they, Zach and Brittany's gang of friends took over Jax's saloon and made it Brits for one night. And my God, did that ruffle some feathers. Oh my God. You would have thought it was the end. You would have thought they burned Jax's saloon down. By the way, God, they should be thanking Brittany that they featured the bar another time. It's hard to get people in anywhere, but especially Jax's. Anyways, we start off with the reminder that, yes, kids are involved, and we see Cruz in his playroom, and Brittany, being a doting mother, is like, ready? J is for Jax or Jason. C is for cocaine, Cruz. Big fat rails. BFR. Big fat rails. In a talking head, Brittany's like, Jax is coming out of the facility today, and I am extremely nervous about it. I had a little bit of peace knowing that he was in there, and I was safe. And then we have flashbacks from this season of Brittany telling Nia that he flipped a coffee table and hit her knee, of Jax talking to Doute saying, I don't think I've ever gotten that mad in my life. Not justifying it at all, but I didn't just fly out for no reason. That's what I'm talking about. So Jax will say something of like the admission and then undercut it with not taking responsibility fully for something. And then the scene where Brittany was like, I told him I'm filing restraining order and custody. Then Zach in a talking head says, even though he wasn't physically there with us, he definitely made sure he was making his presence known. And we went through all the rage texting he's done so far this season. And then also her telling Doute, saying, I know, he's texting me, I know you're wearing ripped pants and a red shirt. I know you got dirty undies on. And Doute going, he is spying on you. By the way, I love that Doute sent a message to Jax on Watch What Happens Live last night through Zach's Twitter. This fucking lady's a new mom. Jax, dude, you're upsetting Kristen. By the way, you thought Kristen Doute was like getting really powerful. Just imagine her as a mom. It's like a phoenix, like a double phoenix rising from double ashes. Like, do not upset Mom Doute. Mother Earth Doute. My God. I'm scared for Jax. And then Brittany, covering up the camera saying, he's not going to spy on me when he had it covered up the entire time. Remember when he had all those alleged floozies in the house? In a talking head, Brittany goes, I pray that something has changed and that he can be a better person. And by the way, I believe Brittany believes that. I believe Brittany wants that for him. Even though I do think now it is broken and she does not want a romantic relationship with this man, she will always have love for this man. And then all of a sudden, there's a shot, you guys, I shit you not, of like a church with like 2 crosses. And then we find out, we're actually at a church. We're at Mosaic. They have Sunday gatherings. And my God, I was like, no way. Danny and Nia go to Mosaic. I worked at this acting studio for over a decade, and Mosaic was right across the street. It is one of those kind of cool, hip Christian churches that I was like, no way. Danny and Nia go to Mosaic? And we have a preacher going, hey, except when something's like some sermon, you guys, something that's good for you. And we see Danny and Nia watching the preacher man, and Danny's like, Nia in a talking head says, I worry about Brittany. I feel like he's a tornado. And then Jax in the scene when he left for the mental health facility telling Brittany, I'll never forgive you for this, never. And Brittany going, I didn't make you throw chairs and punch holes in the wall. And he's like, oh my God. And then Michelle pops up and goes, you're a disaster, Jackson. No, she goes, we as women always hope for the best. And of course, I want him to be better for himself and for his child and Brittany. By the way, Michelle should be like, but what about me? I have Jesse to deal with. Why am I answering these questions about Jax? And then we have the FaceTime call between Jax and Jason, where he's saying everything right. He's like, I also pushed her away. I pushed her away and I didn't even fucking see it. And Janet was there for that conversation off, so Jax couldn't see her. And she's like, uh-huh. Back to Brittany going, nobody's babysitting him anymore. And what does that mean for me? And then where we ended last week's episode when Brittany was talking to Jesse, when it comes to me and Jax, like, I got him by his balls. I got him by his volcano dick. And Jesse Lally goes, we shall see. T-minus 12 hours and counting, people. And then the valley thing pops up. Oh my God, you guys. It scared me. It not even scared. It scares me. It scares me. And you know what? Since that was just so flippin' intense, they didn't do a Valley theme song of like, it's all right, everything is all right. Even the fucking music theme song was like, could you not put us on this episode? I feel like it's fake. It's false advertising, big time. So anyways, let's have a moment of somewhat levity. Let's shake the bad juju. I'm going to even let Kristen come in with that stuff that gets out bad energies. You know what does get bad energies out for me is playing the Vanderpump Rules theme song. It's called Raise Your Glass by Dina Deadly. Here we are on a beautiful Thursday. No matter what happens out there in the valley, we have each other to hold on to. Here we go. Whoa! Okay, I'm back. Woo! Uh-oh, had an image of Jax. I'm going to push that away. Fist pump. Woo! Here we go. Oh, God. This makes me want to learn how to play music. This is when it gets funky right here. Here we go. By the way, these moments are what assures me I will never work in any kind of official capacity ever again. Push Jax out of your head. Let's do a little bit more of the song. Think of good thoughts, positive thoughts. Sandoval. Interpretive dance. This baby making me. You don't have to tell me, but actually tell me. Has anybody made a baby to this song? It'd be so cool / scary if you did. Woo! Raise them high, folks. Raise them up high. I can't believe Raquel was in the jacuzzi with Tom. I can't believe it. What'd you say, Ken? I said, I can't believe Jack Sailor's the way he's with Brittany. I can't believe that. Woo! Okay, so we start the episode and it says 12 hours later, and Jesse Lally pulls up in front of Jax's rehab / mental health facility and opens up the trunk, and Jax gets in the car. He's got a Jax's Saloon white hat and white hoodie. Way to get that branding out there, man. Yes. Out of rehab, promote the bar. Boom. I will say, and I waited. So last night on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked Jax, do you feel comfortable naming the rehab facility or the mental health facility that you went to? And he said, yeah. And I waited a day and I went and checked if it got taken down from that episode, and it is still up on that episode. So the mental health facility is a place called Psy Clarity Health. Psy Clarity Health, PSYCLARITY Health. And on the website, it is the exact, like the metal fence thing. You see it in the back of where Jesse is picking Jax up at. So this is a very real place. We'll talk more about it in part 2 when I get into more of the Watch What Happens Live of it all and his mental health facility, but it is in there. And I'm just like, dude, maybe we should have kept this quiet. Also, just because what is like the patient confidentiality agreement, and I mean, I do not agree with certain practices that this place let Jax do, but we also don't know what Jax told them. And they could have been going on just lies from the jump. Who knows if we will ever know that, right? So Jax sits down in Jesse's car and, you know, Jesse gets in and he's like, good to go, Jax. And Jax is like, I can't believe I did 30 days. And Jesse's like, I'm proud of you, man. And then Jax is like, I got my 30-day token. And he has it in his hand. And like, I'm like, show the camera, Jax. Like, that could just be a quarter for all we know. Let me see the chip. Let me see the 30-day chip. At this point, I do not believe anything anymore. I don't just mean with the Valley, anything. Also, we see Isabella's car seat in the back. And oh my God, how I wanted Jesse to bring Isabella. I'm like, who's this, Dad? Hey, Jax, it's me. My name's Isabella. What's up? I like finger painting and fucking shit up. How are you, brother? But no, Isabella. Jesse, about the coin, the chip says, keep that on you at all times. And Jax is like, I did it. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I did it. I did it. How are you feeling, Jax? Got a lot of feelings because I know I'm walking into a shitstorm, but it's all about how I handle it. And I'm going to immediately handle it in the worst way possible. He continues, my anger has just been such an issue my whole life. In a talking head, Jax goes, I was safe in rehab. Nobody could hurt me. Then you walk out the doors and it's like life just hits you. You literally walked out the door multiple times every day you were in there. You fucking went to your... By the way, this place is in Woodland Hills and Jax lives in Studio City. I mean, on a good day, that drive is at least 20 minutes. And I'm talking, you have to like really time it out. Otherwise, you're like in 30, 40 minutes. What do you mean? Like life was... You went every day outside. And on that Alex Baskin podcast, he also talked about how he would work out with Crunch and they would send somebody with him to work out. And I don't know if that was the first rehab or the second rehab, but he did say that. Like, he went out all the flipping time. So it's like, you walk out these doors. It's crazy what, like, you barely stayed in the doors. He goes, now, okay, I got to remember everything that I've learned. I got to move into this new place. All things, he chose to move into the new place. He goes, I got to see my son. I got to face everybody. Speaking of my face, I got to get Botox. It's a lot to take in at once. And it's kind of like, okay, just stay calm. I just don't want to go back to my old ways because it's very easy to slip. I mean, just the last 30 days, I've been rage texting. I just don't want to get back to that place. Oh, shit, I was in rehab. Oh, my God, I should have been. Listen, I want to empathize with this man so badly. I feel like you've heard me try over and over again. But it is just like, it is a load of bullshit. And it's almost like I can't tell if he completely believes the bullshit he's saying or he knows that he's like, well, get a load of this one. And I mean, it's just weird to the audience too, because it's like, man, we've studied you since 2013. And like, how many times have we said we've wanted like, well, I hope he can figure it out, right? We wanted it, I mean, this is like not even Sandoval. Like, this is like a whole different beast. He tells Jesse, I mean, literally for 7 hours a day for the last 30 days, I've been drilled with therapy. But man, I unpacked some serious shit in my life. Some serious stuff that I thought I was going to take to the grave. Things about my mother, things about my childhood, figure out where this anger that I have comes from. I mean, I was crying nonstop there. It was just one thing after another. This is right up there with my father's death. Like, this is tough. By the way, I believe that. I believe what he says about the anger. I believe what he says. I mean, that's the thing. And it's like, I'm spending all this time thinking about this dude when it's like, man, I'm also like, I just hope Brittany is okay. And also, you guys, I say this every week. I don't think Brittany is the perfect person by any stretch of the imagination. Any stretch of the imagination. But my God, like, can we admit, like, we're all seeing what we're seeing? I'm still seeing weird discourse about, like, she drove that man to this. Like, no, like, he was like this before. We have proof. I feel like so much lately, like, we have, like, video and photographic proof of so many things, and we just ignore it. I mean, this isn't AI. This isn't CGI. We've seen these things happen. And I think maybe if I'm looking on the bright side, maybe it speaks to that's a good thing to want to believe people. But this is like the Jacks who cried wolf when they lie again, and then all of a sudden they're telling the truth. How are we supposed to know it's the truth? We can't. Oh God, sorry you guys. This is an insane episode. He says the rehab thing was a really eye-opening experience. He says that he was being reckless with himself. And he said he was in absolute denial and a really humbling experience and a kind of realizing what he did, he says. It was, yeah, it was reckless to yourself health wise, but I don't think he was even honest that it was for cocaine and alcohol. I think he was in there treating the mental aspect. But it was also reckless to your family, right? He tells Jesse, he goes, I never was held accountable for my actions. Wow, that line might come back to haunt Jax Taylor because eventually the show will be forced to hold you accountable for your actions. And there is, oh God, I don't know how reality show works. The more I find out about reality show, the less I feel like I know. Like, I don't know if there's like a normal job, like you get written up, you get verbal warnings, 3 strikes, you're out. I mean, Jax is on 38 billion strikes at this point. Jesse Lally goes, I'll tell you one thing. By the way, Jesse, this is like the ghost of Christmas future coming to visit Jesse. By the way, this is probably Jesse's rehab, just driving with Jax. He's like, holy shit, I've got to get my house in order. I'm going to leave Michelle alone pronto. But Jesse goes, those days are fucking over for you. And Jax is like, I know, nobody can give me chances anymore. Like, everyone needs to be held accountable. I don't even know if he knows what he's saying. And I hate to laugh because it's like, dude, this is like real things that he has to deal with. But just to remind you, he goes into another rehab in November after cameras ended, right? And also, I don't know enough about mental health care facilities and the good people that hopefully work there. So I don't know that aspect of it. So hopefully somebody can come on and talk to me about that. Jesse goes, no, you're not going to get chances. Nobody's going to give you a break. Everyone is hurting. And then Jax goes, nobody's hurting. They're all partying. Hey, no, man. You might be pleased to find out everybody's on Danny Booko for sleeping one off in Santa Barbara. I love that Jesse's even like the voice, everybody's hurting. Nobody's hurting. They're all partying. If you were hurting, they would have come to visit me. You know who came to visit me? Not one fucking person. So much so that I had to go outside and visit people myself. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Or did you? I mean, my God, you guys. You lost Brittany, dude. You expect Brittany to come visit you? What do you expect the cast to come visit you? It's me, Lisa Vanderpump. Jax, what are you doing? Just come to have a spot of tea. It's a beautiful mental health facility you're in. But he goes, not even my wife of 10 years? Not even my wife. Dude, you're separated. And also, if you're rage texting somebody, why would they ever want to come visit you? To top it all off, I found out that she had a party at my bar last night and called it Brits. Horrible name. The night before I get out of rehab. And Jesse's like, I know. Yes, I know about this party. The Brits party. Everybody kind of took it as a big joke. It was a big joke. And then Jack says, there's only so much humble pie I can take. Brother, you haven't even begun to take the humble pie. I don't even know what the fucking humble pie is. Jesse goes, you do, but you need to go out on a little bit of an apology tour. Oh, do you mean for my podcast? Podcast? No, an apology tour, Jax. I am doing that. But I'm also allowed to be a little angry. No, man. But also that's what the therapy is for. I can't change overnight. He says, I can't change over 30 nights. I'm not making any excuses, but give me a break, man. Heard a couple excuses in there. Intense stuff. Okay, so now we're at Jax and Brittany's house, and Jax and Jesse pull up, and Jax is like, I'm scared to go in the house. I'm scared of houses. And Jesse's like, I was told they packed everything up. They labeled it all. And then Jax goes, well, I'm taking a lot more than what she put. Already! Jax is back. Well, I'm taking a lot more than what she put. I'm going to take that lamp, and that throw pillow, and that thing that says Couchy Homestead. I'm taking that. So Jackson's like, where is all my stuff? In the garage? Don't tell me the garage, Jesse. Oh, God. He opens up the garage door, and we see a bunch of hefty garbage bags, and there's Post-it notes that says Jax on it. And Jack's like, do you see anything in boxes here, Jesse? No. Trash bags for the trash. In a talking head, Jax goes, it's tough. It's not easy. You know, you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to be a good parent. You're trying to do the right moves here, the right steps. It's just really overwhelming. By the way, he tells us everything that he's doing on all of these other things, but where is he trying actively to be a good parent? And like, I know this man loves his son. I know it. I know it. I have to believe it. I know. But like, why doesn't the show those things? Or are they just they just don't exist? And Jax, he talks in circles. He's like, I'm not going to take anything that's hers. I don't need lingerie. Like, no, I got brand new everything. I'm not taking her dishes or cups or I'm even giving her my $20,000 Lovesac couch. First off, way overpriced, Jax. Also, I'm sure that was from like some sort of sponsor, like podcast sponsor. And plus, I'm not doing it for her by any means. I'm doing it for my son. He loves cups. He loves dishes. He loves cups. He loves couches. I'm not taking anything from his home. Unless he wanted that big screen TV. I'm taking that. I'm taking the workout room. Brittany needs to know this house needs to go on the market right now. Jesse looks up. At first, I thought he looked up because he was like, do you know I do real estate? And then Jax goes in something that just, I think every woman out there, this is why we love him, you know? No woman needs a 5-bedroom house, 7-bath. You are a woman with a child. Get something like a 3-bedroom that's manageable as a woman. First off, this dude talking about managing anything should shiver you to the bone. And on top of it, throwing in the man-woman dynamic, a woman can't have 7 shitters. I'll tell you that much right now. If I know one thing, I know how much space a woman should have. And it's definitely not 5-bedroom, 7-bath. Even Jesse's like, oh shit, I backed the wrong horse. Jesse goes, well, she mentioned the mortgage thing. And then Jack goes, yeah, I paid it all off. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't pay it all off. Watch the after show. Jesse Lally goes, yeah, she said something about it being back all the way to February or something. Ugh. Uh-oh. Our friend Ronnie Karam just texted. Also, reminder, Ronnie would say Watch What Crappens is in LA tonight. So I'm sure it's probably already sold out. But go get tickets if it isn't, God. Gold standard, right? Anyways, back to this mess. Jackson's like, yeah, I paid the mortgage. I stopped paying when I found Julian out. You know, I stopped paying all our bills. I was like, great, I hope the house goes into foreclosure, right? Jesse goes, the easiest thing to do is to overreact and be like, see, Jax hasn't changed. What I do recommend is calling Brittany a hooker. A high-class whore, as it may be, right? And then he's like, do you know about my party tomorrow? And then Jax immediately goes, am I invited? Huh? And he kind of gets a little smirk. Hey. Okay, could old Jax get an invite? Huh? And he goes, I don't know what the situation is. You don't know if I'm invited? Come on, man, live for the party. You kidding me? I want to rage. Jesse's like, Zach was saying he wants to have a welcome back party for his boyfriend who just got back into the U.S. And he's like, I don't know what to do. My apartment's small and I offered my house. And Michelle has already declined the offer from Zach to come. Who cares about Michelle? Well, I'm going, he says. I'm going. Yeah. Well, it's his party, but he's been going to my bar. In a talking head, he goes, I just got out of rehab. I want to go out. I want to see some people. I want to see what the nightlife has in store. I want to go out. Go to your bar, your precious bar that you don't want anybody at. Go to that place. Your name's on the building. Your name is not on Zach's party. My heart can't take this recap. He goes, I want to see some people I can give 2 shits about Zach's and whoever's boy. I didn't even know he was gay. I don't give a shit. And guess what? It's Jesse's house. Who's my friend, not Zach's. These are all great lessons that kids usually learn by the age of 8. It's like, it's not your friends, it's our friend. Like, come on. It's my sandbox. If I want to go to his house, I'm going to fucking go to his house. How? In the scene, Jax goes, it's your house and I'm going. That's it. And Jesse just seems a little nervous. Jesse's like, holy shit. Like, I don't think I can I don't think I want to ever try to be Jax. So in the next scene, Zach is on his way to pick up his boyfriend, Benji, from LAX. And this is on a Friday afternoon. And I will tell you from experience, it is legitimately the worst day and time to pick somebody up from LAX. It is insanely I've done that drive a couple of times and it is flipping horrible. But anyways, he's on the phone with Jasmine and he's like, get this. Jesse says that Jax wants to come. He wants to come to my boyfriend's party and I am blocked on everything still. And then at Britt's party, he was rage texting the other owners being like, why is Zach here? Jasmine's like, we have to make sure we give him the space to show us that he is, changed, but let him know that the shit you did wasn't okay. Right? Like, that's the right sentiment. And Jax immediately shows us that he is not changed. Obviously, he fights with Zach at the party, but also like just the sheer mention of what your behavior, it was not okay, sets him off. So how are you supposed to have any sort of conversation or any sort of resolution, right? Zach says, I think everybody could just like stand behind me as their leader and then I can just lead us into battle. Zach's like, and if the camera crews are there, I'll be safe, right? Like, this is like, you probably have the whole cast nervous about you. But Zach's like laughing with Jasmine about this. And then we go to our first break. So now we're in a scene with Michelle and Aaron, the hot honey man, which, by the way, Maritza's like, he doesn't sell hot honey. I'm like, no, I know. He's like Michelle's hot honey man. He's hot. He gives us the hot honey. You're a disaster, Ryan Bailey. You're a disaster. Anyways, they're on the front lawn with their dog, Kilo. Is that like a funny name, like Kilo of cocaine? Or that's triggering to Jax potentially. Anyways, they're in the front yard doing flirties. And Michelle's like, Isabella did say the other day, she was like, how about if we move in, Mom? And I can just run around in the grass. And Aaron's like, so Isabella actually said she wanted to move in here? Yeah, because of your grass. In a talking head, she lets us know that Aaron and Isabella's relationship is incredible. They wake up in the morning and they smell the roses, makes her breakfast, and it seems like they have a really sweet relationship. And also, I do want to point out that last week on the recap, we were talking about that scene with Michelle's mom and, battling cancer. And I will say, and by the way, Maritza told me this as well, and I totally spaced it, but her mom did pass away on November of 2024. And there's nothing that can be said. And this is just so real and so tragic. And I hope Michelle is okay. Like, honestly, it's really just awful. Awful. Anyways, she talks about the intention to hopefully one day get married, right? And she's like, if you propose, before, I don't know, Aaron. And Aaron's kind of laughing, throwing the ball with the dog, throwing the ball to the dog. So she's kind of hinting at wanting to get engaged. And she thinks that he would be a stepdad to Isabella. And that's why they have that relationship now, because this could potentially be her stepdad one day. And then the dog just like pisses right in front of them, which, by the way, that's total. There were so many times in this episode where I just pissed in front of the TV. That's like how intense it was. So now we're still at Michelle's and she's cooking up some steaks. They have the golden egg. And I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on now? And she wants to give an update about her mom. And she says the oncologist said her body is deteriorating, and which is why she sent the email and even told Jesse. She said it'd be nice for Isabella to spend some time with her grandmother. And he said no. And later we find out in this episode that he did not realize how serious this was. But when I saw this the first time, I was like, how fucking weird is it that you just had this scene trying to counsel Jax into being a better person, and then this is fucking horrific. Are you out of your gourd? And I want to believe that Jesse didn't realize how serious, but my God, even if you know somebody has cancer at all, let people visit those people, period. That should be nothing to do with any sort of manipulation or games or even your own anger at your partner, no matter what you think she did, right? But when I saw this, I was like, this is just, you get out of the Jax thing and this is just even darker in some ways. She says this is the lowest thing that Jesse has ever done to her. Just because he's pissed off, he says no. And she says that makes her sick to her stomach how careless he is. Aaron says he prays that he cannot always be bringing you down or making your life as difficult as possible. And remember, this is one of the things earlier in the season, she said they took some time apart, her and Aaron, because of Jesse and because of how serious this situation was. And that is something that they have to think about the future of their relationship, that Jesse will always be the father to Isabella. And it's one of those things, it's like, Jax is so bad that you're almost like, well, I hope Jesse, I hope Jesse can figure it out. But that's why I'm like, the Valley doesn't need Jax. We got plenty of options in terms of poor male behavior, right? So we get out of that scene and now we are at the Smokehouse. Now, the Smokehouse, you guys, is an old school restaurant right across from Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, just right over the hill. I've been to the Smokehouse a bunch. My uncle Dale, he passed away and he was buried at Forest Lawn, and Forest Lawn is right on the other side of Warner Brothers. And the after reception for his funeral was at the Smokehouse, but it is old school. It has been there for old school, like very, yeah, it's just, but also it's so funny. It's like, let's go. Hey guys, let's go to the Smokehouse. I was like, why not Dantana's? Why not? What's the other one that's all like got? Anyway, so it's Guys Night at the Smokehouse. All right. Okay, so immediately we find out that this scene is dark and a mess as well, because as the guys are walking in before Jax gets there, because it's like Jax's welcome home party, and Danny is there and Jason is there. And remember last week's episode at Britt's bar, sorry, Jax, Jason and Janet were saying Danny was like blackout again. And whether that be the case or not, the show didn't do a good enough job in showing us that he was blackout. Like, right? It seemed like he was trying to tell Janet he was annoyed and stop talking about me. And they were like, dude, look at you. And he was like, oh, come on. Are you kidding me? And then Nia got him out of there. And so I was like, okay, but it's like, we can only see what we see on the show, right? So it was hard to tell if he was blackout or not. That was just my opinion. So Jason is like, yo, Danny, I got your text message and I just wanted to let you know I got it, but we're not good right now. But tonight's about Jax. Tonight's about somebody we should not be good with coming back. And he's like, we can talk about whatever later, Danny, but not tonight. And Danny's like, 100%. Yeah. Tonight's just for Jax. Yeah, he deserves a party. Jason says at Britt's bar, Danny was just drunk again. He starts, coming after my wife, and I starts insulting my wife. We flash back to that night to see. But he says, I just really don't have time in my life for Danny at this point. Okay, so the thing that confuses me is like we didn't see it. And we saw him pass out at the Santa Barbara thing. And everybody was half of them were in an uproar about that. But even everybody seemed tanked in Santa Barbara. And then obviously we have the thing that is the most disturbing that we didn't see, but Jasmine told us about, is that him grabbing her fiance's butt and saying, get daddy a drink. And that one, he sort of admits to, right? Says he's blackout. That's not in his character. But my question is, and the thing that is confusing, because everybody is going hard on Danny, including Jax. And if you read that Variety article by Kate Arthur, which we're going to cover in the second part, which now that this is going on so long, maybe the second part will be Friday. I don't know, folks. It's just a lot to talk about this. It's a lot to talk about this kind of darkness. But in it says Jax is the one that was like, I'm coming for Danny this season before he knew he was going to check into a mental health facility. Jax, Danny's buddy, was like already like, you got it too easy on your first season. We're coming for you. So my question is there more to Danny Booko's story than is being told on this show? Because it does not make sense from what we've seen. Like, yes, the Jasmine thing, horrific. He's apologized, I think, 2 or 3 times on the show, and I think he apologized off the show before they even started filming. But it doesn't make sense to me that they would go this hard on him unless there is something else that we, the audience, don't know about, right? Because you watch this and you're like, what? I mean, come on, there's bigger fish to fry. You got Jax Taylor right there. We got Jax out of rehab and immediately we go back in on Danny again? So that leads me to believe there's a piece of information, and I said this earlier in the season, there's a piece of information that we, the audience, do not know. And what is that piece of information? What has happened? Is this something that he's done multiple times? Because I see this and I'm like, oh, he just probably couldn't handle his drink and he got it. Like I make all these sort of excuses. And I'm like, he just seems like and it seems like him and Nia have a strong marriage and they try to keep their issues behind closed doors, which is kind of weirdly refreshing, even if you are on reality TV. Sometimes with this show, I'm like, share less. Yeah, keep something for you. So that's the thing that confuses me. Does it confuse you as well? I think because everybody's like, why are they going so hard on Danny? I feel like there's a piece of missing information here. Anyways, Jesse Lally comes in. He's wearing all these like I'm wearing my cool guy ripped jeans. All right. And then the man of the hour, Jax, comes in. He's like, hey, all right. Everybody's like, welcome back, dude. He goes into the restaurant. This looks like a good seat. It's a good seat for me. Head of the table right over here. All right. He sits down. Danny's like, welcome back, dude. Jason's like, skin looks great, man. You look 10 years younger. And Jax orders a Diet Coke. He doesn't have a drink. And everybody's like, okay, water. Jax is like, I feel the best I've ever been in my entire life. There's nothing like 30 days of rage texting. He goes, I feel like I can talk normal. I was spiraling, you guys, spiraling out of control. So I learned that drinking and drugs are not the problem with anybody. There's deep-rooted issues that make you go there to coach your fucking anger issues. I want you guys to hold me accountable. So he's doing the same speech he gave Jesse in the car. If you see me going down a road with this anger or just say whatever, you just say to me like, listen, this is not for you. I mean, well, let me have a little bit of rage. Come on. A guy's got to have a little bit of rage, right? Anybody, come on. But say, listen, this is not for you. Jason goes, regarding accountability and drinking, Jax, I know you said that's not your problem. You're going to drink a bit. Does that mean you're going to have 2 or 3 glasses of wine? Or does that mean you're going to go to Jax's bar and tie one off? Jax goes, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to drink. I'm just not going to get shit-faced. I'm not going to stop drinking. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to drink today. Not with these prices. Am I right? Okay. This was another part that shocked me. Because I thought, and I hate to break it to everybody, so much information. Okay. So I was shocked about this. I thought it was like, yeah, no drinking and no drugs. And already he's like, I'm going to drink. Come on. Drinking's not my problem. I can't drink rage. That's what I can't drink. But already I'm like, dude, that is dark. Now, once again, I want to remind you, this was the first rehab. He does eventually, from what I've been told, goes back to everything. But we're not going to see that on TV. That also then played a part in the second rehab. And then that is when he allegedly got sober from everything. On Watch What Happens Live last night, he said he was celebrating his 200th day of sobriety. And Andy was like, and that is from you count that from the rehab. And Jackson's like, yes. But what he didn't say was that's from the second rehab. And 200 days goes back to November. And that's when he went into the second rehab. So that is not 200 days of sobriety from this. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And then his business, this business partner of Jax, which, what a job, says, oh, you guys, he's gone for 30 days and you guys hijack his bar. We got to talk about what happened last night. I mean, Brits. And Danny's like, I didn't hijack his bar. Jax says, you may have not hijacked my bar, but you partaked. You have partooken. Why would you be doing this the day before I get out? Like, you thought this was a good idea? He's directing this directly at Danny. Jason was there. Jesse was there. Like, why are we looking directly at Danny? Danny goes, I didn't come up with anything. Jack says, I just think defacing my bar And doing all that was a little bit of a slap in the face to somebody who's in rehab. In a talking head, Danny's like, dude, why are you being so angry when you just came out of a facility for 30 days? That was having to deal with your anger. Not sure it worked. I agree with Danny. Then Jax continues. You guys went to Santa Barbara. What happened? I love that Jax is like, tell Papa what happened. Hey, tell the reality star what happened. Come on, lay it on old Jax. Come on. So we have like a flashback scenes from Santa Barbara. You're a disaster. You're a disaster. Well, you're a hooker. And then Janet revealing that Danny had a big swig of a Casamigos bottle in the pantry. It was a great trip. Fun was had by all. And so we see those scenes are like they're telling Jax. And Jason's just like, Santa Barbara was a good time. Jason just level. Hey, Santa Barbara was pretty fun still. And Jesse's like, I had a great time. Great house. Had a great time. And then Jesse's like, well, Danny blacked out. And then Jax goes, oh, Darkside came out. I've been told about your nickname, Darkside. And Danny's like, I didn't black out. And Jax is like, there was no hidden bottles of tequila in the pantry? And Danny's like, oh, what? Are we all talking here? I love that Jax is like knows every scene, what's happened. He's like, I have eyes everywhere. Danny's like, how would Jax even know this when he wasn't even in Santa Barbara? And is even getting false information from a little birdie named Janet, maybe? And then we have like a little Janet pop up in Danny's talking head with like birds chirping. I love that Danny's like the one man that came onto this show that's never watched a reality show in his life. Yeah, he's just never. He's like, what? What's going on? Jesse goes, we don't call him Darkside Danny anymore. We call him Pantry Danny. I'm like, what? We've introduced a new nickname? I thought it was Danny Darko last week, Darkside Danny the week before, and now it's Pantry Danny? Can we just get a fucking name? Can we agree on that at least? Jax goes, what's going on here? And Jason's like, we'll talk about it. I love Jackson's like, let me help. I've had a lot of therapized stuff. I can help. Yeah, Jackson's like, let's get it out of the way. And Danny's like, I did. I actually sent Jason an apology today. And Jason goes, you didn't know what you were apologizing for. You were blacked out, dude. I was not even close to blacked out. And then Jason's like, oh my God, you're in such denial, dude. It's insane, dude. In a talking head, Jason says, being around a person who is going to get blasted, lie about their alcohol consumption, and gaslight is just a dangerous person to be around. Now, I agree with all of those things. I don't think the show has shown us that or proved it with like shots of a couple of drinks being had, and especially in this cast. When everybody like, let's do shots. But also what Jason is saying right here, it's like, yo, dude, you're sitting across from Jax. That's dangerous, right? Like, that's not a good person to be around. Jax has lied about his alcohol consumption, his cocaine. And Jason goes, well, you want to act like you're better than Jax, but I drove Jax to a mental health facility. But I mean, I should be driving you to a mental health facility, it seems like. I love that we keep calling it a mental health facility and not a rehab. But I think he did, like I said, lie and treated it like a mental health facility when it was actually should have been a rehab. And then Jax goes, Danny, you do have an issue with it. And I'm the last person that should be telling you about whatever. But I'm going to continue to do it because I need to firm up my place. I've missed a lot of episodes. Danny goes, please don't say anything. You have been kicked out of my bar a couple times for these kind of things. I don't have an issue, Jax. I don't have an issue. Now, the couple times you've been kicked out of the bar, we just heard about one time. When are we going to hear about the others? Is this the thing? Danny in a talking head says, my problem isn't drinking or having too much to drink. It's people that I consider friends that are attacking me for things that didn't even happen. I'm starting to see who my real friends are at this table. And unfortunately, Danny says it's not Jason, and it for sure is not Jax. Oh, or Jason. Aren't they both named Jason? He says. I agree. But also, Danny, like I said, you're in the pit of vipers. So if you have done other things, it's going to come out. But Danny keeps going, I don't have an issue with it. And Jax goes, I thought maybe you'd be like, hey, maybe drinking is, it's a problem. Anger is my problem. Danny's like, I think things are getting blown out of proportion. And Jason goes, well, you don't want to stop drinking. So, and Danny's like, I rarely even drink. And then Jason goes, an alcoholic doesn't mean you have to drink every day. You know that, right? And Danny's like, what are you? And then Jack says, we're all friends here. I love it. It's like, I create a table of misery. Oh, this is a great restaurant. I love being back. In a talking head, Jax goes, I'm just so happy that other people have issues too. It's not just Jax. All the heat has been on me. And it's just nice just to take a little bit of a break. Thanks, Danny. And then he gives like a maniac. And by the way, he looks like evil David Hasselhoff. There was a show called Knight Rider in the 80s where he drove this car called Kit. It was like hello, Michael. It's me, Kit. And there was one episode. Oh my God, I was a kid. I remember this episode where David Hasselhoff played dual roles. He played David Hasselhoff, and then he played David Hasselhoff's evil twin. And the only thing that was different on the evil twin was it had like a little Jax mustache and a little chin beard, and that's how you knew it was evil David Hasselhoff. That is what Jax looks like in this talking head. He goes, "Thanks, Danny." But once again, man, it's just like somebody taking glee that other people have problems. And also, the heat always isn't on you. It's just like your behavior. God, I feel like I'm just saying your behavior is why the heat is there in the first place. Jason keeps going, goes, I don't think you can regulate, Danny. I love that Danny has to pay for this meal. You see Jax taking glee that Jason's saying this, like, haha, yes, young Padawan, go to the dark side, Jason. And then Jason goes, anyways, Jax, so happy to have you back, man. Another weird dark scene. Where is this taking? This is taking place in hell. So now we cut to the party at Jesse Lally's for Zach's boyfriend Benji, and they do this bit where I guess Jesse's doorknob isn't a doorknob, and everybody thinks it's a doorknob, and it's hard to get in. And it's like these scenes on like Summer House would be it would be hysterical. But on the Valley, you're just like, okay, man. Yeah, that's the thing. Even if the Valley tried to be like super funny and jovial, I don't think it could do it. Like, I don't know if it could do it. And I was thinking about that yesterday, is that how Summer House like has drama. But at the end of the day, it's not this kind of drama, if that makes sense. Like the Amanda-Kyle relationship, obviously that there's a darkness there, but they still seem to, at times, all genuinely get along with each other. And I don't know, it's just completely different. Like I can actually laugh when I watch Summer House, and I don't know if I laugh in a way of like, oh, that's funny, like genuinely funny. Nobody is genuinely funny on this show. It's just nasty. So even when they do like the doorknob bit, I'm like, okay, like sandwich this little doorknob bit between like dark scenes. So anyways, Janet says she's uncomfortable because Danny and Nia are there, and she's like trying to do the awkward dance right now of like, oh great, they're here, we're here. And Janet says, I don't think any of us are really pleased with each other at all, so I'm not really sure what to do. So great party, fun party for Benji. This poor Benji, they're using him, and it's just like, hey Benji, your surprise welcome to LA party is just an excuse for more darkness. So they're all doing a cheers. Jax isn't there yet, and Brittany's like, Brittany thinks that they said Jax, but they said Zach. She's like, oh, you almost gave me a heart attack. Let's do a shot. She goes, I have not seen Jax at all since he got out of treatment. I have made sure to not have no contact with him. Divorce papers are going to be served to him in a few days. And then they flash back to her with the divorce lawyer in last episode, right? She got that ball rolling. He has not reached out to try to see Cruz even once. And then we see Jax at a hair salon. Like, trim the top a little bit. I like to wear it like this, blow dry it up. I mean, I love it. Like, I've never blow dried my hair. I mean, that's why my hair looks like shit most of the time. But I just love that Jax doesn't have like a plan for his life, but he has a plan for his hair, right? And then we see that he also went and got Botox that day. And we see him at the Botox place, and they're just injecting him. And he's like, I love it. I love it. Like, Brittany's like, why would I ever want to see him if he's not even going to try to get in contact to see his son? I mean, truly. Come on, guys. Truly. And don't say she had him blocked on everything, because she says she unblocked him earlier in the show. And also there's other ways. Jason's a good contact and intermediary in the other episodes. Like, why didn't you want to see Cruz the first day? Like, oh, he'd be scared of me without my Botox. If he sees dad without his hair, just perfect. It really freaks him out. Anyways, Janet's asking people, have any of you guys met Benji before? And everyone's like, no. Also, one guy at this party, like this Asian man, he looks like he's wearing that Meredith Marks beaded mask. Remember that? Of like, you get, when she was in the like see-through fishnet face thing. Anyway, Zach finally brings Benji for his big surprise party, and the surprise is ruined immediately because Jasmine left a sign up that says like, welcome home, Benji. And it says departed, not deported, which is so weirdly tasteless in this time. Which, by the way, oh my God, the National Guard and ICE. Can you just round up the cast of the Valley? My God. But Zach's like, they literally put everything in the back and they're shushing, and they forgot that this sign is right here. Jasmine had one job, babe, just one job. Make sure it was a surprise. You had everybody back there. Anyways, they finally go, welcome back. It sounds like 3/4 of these people have never even seen Benji. But this is his big party, which is just a device for Jax to like make everybody uncomfortable, right? Nia says to Janet, can we chat before the party gets going? So they go sit to the side, and I'm like, okay. So Nia's like, okay, so things that I've heard, Janet, that I would love clarity from you on, because you're the person that it's been discussed about. They were like, Jasmine, her and Daniel had a conversation about their situation. And then that was the apology for, grabbing the girlfriend, that whole thing, right? They keep flashing back to it. I've seen this scene so many times now. Janet says, I want to be really real with you. I did speak negatively about Daniel behind his back because I thought his actions were horrible. And I feel bad for you. And Nia's like, horrible? Horrible? And she goes, I feel bad in the sense for you too. Look, I'm sorry, Nia, that all this happened, truly. But at the same time, if your husband's going to a public bar and getting blacked out and acting a fool and making women uncomfortable, it's going to get talked about. And I guess it's still concerning. And then Nia's like, I didn't say you lied. I didn't say you lied. And then she's like, your husband's blacked out a couple days ago, yelling at me in the middle of the bar. And Nia's like, he was not blacked out. He had 2 seltzers. And Janet like does the big mouth like, oh my God. Okay. And I will say, we saw him in the clips that they show have more than 2 seltzers. He was like sipping a beer. He was sipping this. So more than 2 seltzers. So Janet goes, okay, if he has that kind of behavior after 2 seltzers, that's also concerning. And he is like, what kind of behavior? He was mad at you? And Janet goes, butting into that conversation, saying, I'm a snake. If he wants to own that as sober behavior, then maybe he's not a drunk asshole. Maybe he's just an asshole. Oh, okay. So obviously, if you're Nia, you would be angry at Janet. But him saying that Janet's a snake, this is why it's confusing. This is why I say the show didn't do a good enough job showing that Danny was blackout. Because the way that it has been portrayed, if I knew that Janet and Jason and all of these people were talking, and thinking that it all came from Janet, I think I would call Janet a snake as well. So I feel like the show did not do a good enough job to show that he was blackout, if he was blackout. So Nia's, you can tell she's ticked now. Here's the thing, is I think you are intentionally trying to like bring a bad light about him. You are the devil, as Jesus would say. But Janet goes, I'm bringing the truth. Oh, man, I'm bringing the truth, justice in the American way. And then Nia goes, you are wild. And Janet goes, if you want to keep sweeping it under the rug. And she's like, I'm not sweeping anything under the rug, Janet. I'm trying not to move to Santa Clarita. I'm talking to you directly. Things are handled directly in my marriage, so you need to watch what you're saying and the way you're saying things to me. And then Janet goes, I'm good, and just gets up and leaves. No. It's like, this is where it doesn't become real life for me. Like, no, like, work it out. Go, hey, I don't think your husband's being honest to you about your drinking. This is what I've seen. This is why I'm saying these things. This is where, but anyway, she gets up and he's like, great, okay. And I don't know how long that conversation was because these things are edited down. And then Janet walks off and goes, deny. And Nia says in a talking head, Janet has never apologized for anything that she's done. Where have I heard that before recently? Janet's never apologized for anything that she's done. What other reality show just had that? Janet's never apologized for anything that she's done. Some other, I'm not even making a joke right now. I'm just saying, what show are we talking about? Anyways, Nia says she only doubles down on all the things that she said, which at this point are full on lies or a complete shifting of narratives of what actually happened. Now, Danny goes into Nia, who's sitting in the other room. How you doing? And she's like, I'm not great, Danny. Janet's talking to Jason, relaying the conversation, going, your husband is drunk out there. And Jason's like, so misdirected. And she's like, your husband's out there sexually assaulting women. She didn't use those words to Nia. And she goes, he did stuff that I would consider horrible. And she's like, horrible? And I'm like, yeah. And Jason goes, yeah. Janet in a talking head says, I think Nia's very aware that Danny is a different person when he drinks. There's a reason she always pulls him out of everything when he gets to that point. Okay, so here's the deal. She does pull him out. But my thing is, if Nia is aware of this situation, why would you, this is what's going through my head. A, why would you let any of your life be on a reality TV show? That's like the first thing. I guess maybe financially, because, eventually second, third season, you start making some real money, third season especially. So there's that. But the second thing is, if you do know this, you agree to have your life on reality television in some ways, there's got to be a no drinking policy for Danny from Nia. And Nia does seem to snap at Danny and seems to crack the whip. So wouldn't there be an agreement if Nia was aware of this situation they say is happening? Wouldn't she be like, no drinking at all in any scene. Does not matter if you like it or not. No, period. That's just the thoughts going through my head. Janet says, I don't know if she's just in denial or a form of denial or just hiding what the truth is, which is he's a different guy when he drinks. He's not fun to be around. Danny talking to Nia going, I know who I am. I have owned up for all of my mistakes. For someone to keep just going and going and going, I'm just getting so tired of it. And Nia's like, and I don't have the energy for it. He's like, we have 3 under 2. Okay, now we see Jax finally walking up. He's got a little denim shirt up, like 2 buttons unbuttoned, so we see his chesticles, freshly Botoxed, freshly haircut. He can't open the door either because of this damn doorknob. We see Tom Schwartz is there in the back. He didn't come with Jax, so he's like, hey, Brittany, what's going on, Brittany? What's up? And Jax is just still trying to get in to the bar. And we see Jax walk in, and Jesse's like, oh, here he is. Wow, there's the man of the hour, Jax Taylor. Jax gives a big old bear hug to Jesse. And Brittany's outside, so hasn't seen Jax yet. Jesse says, this is awkward. And Jax is like, where's Brittany? Doute's there. Remember, all of these people are there. Doute in a talking head goes, this is so standard, Jax. All he knows is there's a party and he needs to be there. Doesn't matter who it's for or what it's about or who's going to be there. Which, by the way, this was like, oh my God, just talk about how far we've come and how far Jax has not come, is that this reminds me a lot about the first season of Vanderpump Rules, Stassi's birthday party in Vegas. Remember, he wasn't invited to go to Vegas because she was with that douchebag Frank. And then they're at the Indian restaurant, or that little, what was the restaurant they were at? And then Jax comes in his chunky sweater. He's like, okay, the party's here. This is literally, what, trying to do the math, 12 years later, and Jax is doing the same thing. My God, I wish he came in the same chunky sweater. It's like completely ill-fitting. He's like, let's do this. Come on. I know this dude loves to go to places that he's not invited. Schwartz is talking to Brittany going, just for the record, me and Jax didn't come together. I just want you to know that. And Benji's like, that's a good record. That is a good record. And Schwartz is like, the timing is interesting. Now, I do know on reality TV, they usually time entrances and they will usually hold people back. I'm like, you can come at this time. So I think that kind of stuff is at play here as well. Doute is talking to Jax and Doty's like, how are you feeling, Jax? He's like, great. Really, really good. So we're cutting back and forth between Brittany and Jax. Jesse's going up to Brittany going, how are you feeling? And she's like, I have the weirdest rush of nerves. It's weird, Back to Jax. Jax is like, well, did a little self-care. Went and got my hair cut. Rubbed one out at a massage parlor. Got a little Botox. Brittany, we cut back to her. Oh, I hear his voice. Oh, God. On your shot. Back to Jax. Well, would really like to see my son at some point. I'm sure we can find a way. Then he goes, but I got to do all this moving and stuff tomorrow. I just want to be out of there so she can do what she wants. And Doute goes, you don't have to not make eye contact with me, because he's not looking directly at Doute. If you look directly at Doute, you turn to stone if you're Jax. He goes, what do you mean? I'm making eye contact. I'm really nervous about being here. And Doute's like, I know, Jax. Brittany tells Jasmine, let's go in the kitchen. Let's get out of here. Jax, back to him. I have anger issues. Severe anger issues. The screaming, the yelling, that's been going on for years and years and years. And I started drinking. The drinking wasn't the problem. It was the anger. The anger was the drinking. I wonder if Jax sometimes gets tired of got to do this, my old monologue again. Yeah, the anger, the drinking, okay. And then Doute's like, and then the drugs, right? Yeah, the drugs, yeah. And Doute's like, the mixing of everything is not good. Yeah, no, I agree. But, and Doute goes, okay, good. You just got to be healthy. And Jack's like, yep, you just got to move, And he's like, yeah, just be healthy for Cruz. That's it. That's all I care about. And destroying Brittany. That's all I care about. And then really nice conversation from Kristen going up and talking to Jax, right? Nice conversation. And then he goes, saw you at Britt's party. That was nice. Huh? At Britt's bar? That was nice. And Doute goes, it's fun. It's funny. Let her have her moment for one night. She's had a moment for a whole month. I hope she spent it. Oh, God, this is gross. She's had a moment for a whole month. I mean, except for the times I was rage texting her and freaked her out because I was at that. Anyway, but she's had so many moments this last month. And Doute's like, it's not a fuck you to you. To you, it's not. And then I hope she spent a lot of time with our son. In a talking head, Doute's like, bro, don't ever fucking question Brittany and being a good mom. Especially in the position that you're in right now, daddy-o. Woo! Doute dropped a daddy-o. Doute dropped a daddy-o. Doute dropped a daddy-o. Not in your position, daddy-o. Do not ever fucking question Brittany. We're racing for pinks. Doute tells Jax, Brittany does not want to take him away from you. I'm glad. You know that, Jax. You know her. In a talking head, she goes, you should be on your hands and knees so grateful for what an amazing mother she is to that little boy. Nice try. She tells him, you're my friend and she's my friend. She's my best friend. I get it. Remember when Jax was like, you hooked up with Doute, lesbian. Remember that? Remember that season of Vanderpump? But Jack's like, I get it. But you got to let me handle this on my own. I do a pretty good job handling things. And Doute goes, I'm not handling anything. You can give your 2 cents, but let me deal with this. She goes, I'm just supporting her. When she's sad, I support her. Well, I'm sad too. It takes 2 to be sad, or it takes 2. And Doute goes, I love you and I care about you because I fucking want you to succeed. I have always wanted that, Jax. You know that. Yeah, I know. So anyways, good to see you tonight. And she goes, just be good tonight, okay? See, I think that was very cordial of Kristen. And I do believe, whether we think people should be friends and love Jax or not, that's really, we have nothing to do with that part of it. And Doute, but that was a very classy way to handle that. And I almost thought it was like a warning shot, of don't blow this, which he will blow this, right? And the way that he just wants to turn things back immediately. Like, oh, had a good night at Brits, huh? Saw that. By the way, Luke, the quietest man on the valley. I love this dude. He's just staring, watching. And Doute goes, believe it or not, Jax, I really do love and care about you a lot. There's a lot of history there. There is. And somebody, I mean, it's just like, he needs a fucking spanking. Somebody needs to spank this dude. And maybe it needs to be 32 Flavors, the production company. Maybe they need to spank this man where it hurts. But like I said at the beginning of this fucking huge rant an hour and a half ago, is that what if they do that? And it's like they're almost responsible for his behavior towards Brittany. Who would want to be in the business of reality TV these days? Oh, you guys, this is taking me the longest to finish this. Like, we're not even halfway through. I'm going to do part 2 of this, and I'll put it out on Friday because I was planning on taking that day off. But part 2, I have a lot of good things planned, but this is taking me forever. This is how, I mean, because I'll sit there, I'll do the scene, I'll talk about it, and then I will hit pause because I can't go for I'm beat. And then I'll just sit there and I'll just think like, hey, can Jax get work after this? Like, I'll sit there and really think about it. The Valley is not fun to cover. I mean, like, we can have fun with it, but it's just not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope you're having a good time, but it's like weird just trying to like put yourself in their head. Like, it's like, get into the mind of a serial killer. Oh, woe is me. Also, I am just fucking stupidly hungry. I had like my healthy meal earlier, and for some reason I'm just hungrier than usual, and it's like 10 at night. I started this thing at 6. Are you kidding me? Oh, get it. Okay, stop procrastinating. Let's get into this. Okay, so we're still at this party, and Jax is like, God, I want a drink, but I need some water. Water. I think he's like, where's that Danny? I can make fun of him and his alcoholism. Yeah, where's Danny? But he goes, I just need a cup in my hand. I'm not quitting drinking, he reminds everybody. I just don't want to drink tonight. It's my choice, but I do need a water. I need agua. I just don't feel like it. Drinking's not my problem. Anger is my drug. Your love is anger is my drug. Anger is my drug. But also cocaine. Cocaine was the actual, just to clarify. Anyways, Nia and Danny are talking to Jesse Lally in the room, and they're like, hey, how are you and Isabella and Michelle and all the things? And he's like, I love when he's like, it's his house, but he's doing the same pose he does on the after show couch where he's like, legs crossed, like really contemplative. He goes, it's pretty brutal, I'll be honest. Nia's like, Michelle was like, I'm really sad that Jesse's, as of right now, is saying like, Isabella can't spend the week with my mom. Obviously, I can never tell you what to do. It's your child, Jesse. But like, if she has the opportunity to spend a week with her grandmother, who may not be here next year. And she, by the way, and she starts tearing up, Nia. And she goes, and prayerfully we pray for that. And then Jesse goes, remember she goes, I know there's 2 sides of the story. There's 2 sides, yes. I had no idea how sick her mom was. And of course, like I would never say no. Isabella should spend as much time as possible with her grandmother. But Michelle and I need to have a conversation about mortality and life and death with her. Oh my God, please do not do this on camera. What do you got to tell me, Mom and Dad? Isabella, sometimes your light is extinguished. Like, oh my God, please, The Valley, I do not need more dark than Jax. I'm like, a very special episode of The Valley. Jax goes back to his old ways, and Jesse and Michelle teach Isabella about mortality. Like, whoa. Jesse goes, because she can't see this and not know what's happening. In a talking head, he goes, Michelle and I can't agree on anything when it comes to Isabella, and it's hard conversation to have. He tells them, we need to have that conversation first. Back to the talking head. There's no way to explain that finite information to Isabella. She's dealing with a move into a new house, and then dealing with parents that are fighting, and a mom that's possibly a hooker, and then parents that's separated. And then it's like, oh, grandma's gone. And like, how much more can a 5-year-old take? I don't know, maybe don't fight with Michelle. I mean, like, maybe make it easier on Isabella by just like going, okay, Michelle's done. I'm going to go move on with my life. It sucks. I'm going to be sad. I'm going to go to therapy. Don't want to wind up like Jax. And there we go. That's a start. By the way, I'm not a parent, so I imagine this is obviously a very real issue. Like, how do you teach kids about death? I mean, listen, my mom died like a year and a half ago. I'm still trying to understand death. So that concept as a kid is so, I mean, that just sounds, so hard, right? Anyways, Nia's like, so she will be able to spend time with her grandmother? Nia's like, I'm wearing a wire. He goes, she should spend all the time with her grandmother. But this girl needs to know what the fuck is happening with her grandmother, is what I'm primarily focused on. The rest is logistics. So that all sounds great, right? Like, okay, good, nice, all right, Jesse. But then you're just like, is it just Jax in better clothes? You know what I'm saying? Is it just Jax with a taste for wine? Jax always kind of like the right thing to say in a sense. Is that what we're looking at? Is it a different form? And by the way, Jesse, sorry, your luck. You're on a show with Jax, so we are going to put you under that same microscope, right? Anyways, Jax is inside getting some water from a red Solo cup out of the sink. They don't even have bottled water. Jesse doesn't even have bottled water. And then this like bald guy's in there. He's like, hey, what's up? Everybody's like, that's sink water, Jax. He goes, I put worse things in my body than this. You got any blow? And he takes a big sip of the water. And then the bald guy's like, how you doing, bud? And then I'm like, wait, I know that guy. I'm like, oh, it's Jesse's life coach. That's right. Hey, Jax, what's up, bud? I'm Jesse's life coach. Have you ever tried screaming into a pillow? But anyways, Jax is like, I'm good, man. I'm good. Did a little 30-day stint in a mental health facility, and I was spiraling really bad, really, really bad. My drug is my anger. I thought I was going to break into his whole tap dance routine. Anyways, Jasmine and Brittany come in and then realize Jax is in there, and then they're like, oh, got it. I'm going to move over this way. Ooh. And so they like casually walk past Jax as he's talking to the life coach, and you hear Jax being like, learned a lot, actually. Yep. Anyways, Brittany makes it to the back, and she's like, yikes. And Jax then sees Brittany like had walked through, and you can tell he's a little rattled, right? Jax is then in the kitchen, just, holding court. He's like, they say, divorce is right up there with death. Uh-oh. We need to teach Isabella about divorce and death. It's going to be a really bad episode for Isabella soon. Anyways, they're talking to Brittany outside. Like, did you have a face-to-face with Jax? She's like, no, I didn't. I don't think I'm ready for that yet, even though the producers like it. I think I'll, get sucked back in. Yeah, get sucked back in by, oh, I love when he has fresh Botox. Jenna goes, at least now you guys were in the same room together and it was fine. I mean, taking away all my silly jokes. Yeah, I mean, that's ripping that Band-Aid off is good, and it's around people that can protect Brittany if things go south. Anyway, Zach saunters into the kitchen and is left kind of alone with Jax. And Jax is like, hey, how you doing? Cheers. And Zach's like, how are you? Nice little shindig you have here for your gay boyfriend. It's nice. And Zach's like, yeah, everything with Benji's going great. Jax, is like, I don't give a shit about his name. And then Zach, it's like real awkward. Jax is like sucking down the tap water. And Zach's like, and if I'm being honest, I'm proud of you for doing what you just did. Okay, what a great start from Zach, right? Jax gets to come to the party, and then Zach, not a full bend of the knee, but just a little, hey, and by the way, even though he did rage text and he had multiple, shopping trips each day at the minute, but at least you made a step, right? And Jack shakes his head. He goes, yep, I feel pretty good about it. I went after some stuff that I told myself I was going to take to the grave. Like how I killed that hobo. No, he goes, I was in therapy for 7 hours a day for 30 days straight. Here we go, the monologue. And then Zach, I mean, I know Zach has his issues too, but you gotta love Zach in this scene. And Zach's like, but in between those 7 hours, did you listen to the doctors? Yeah, of course. I was just writing and journaling. Oh my God, Jax, you have a journal? Need to read the journal. Jax, I'm telling you, I know you probably didn't journal, but if you did, we could publish that shit. We'll self-publish, but we can still publish. I was journaling, a lot of doodling, a lot of A lot of hangman, you know. Zach's like, did those journaling include text messages to Brittany? Well, yeah, it's kind of another term for journaling. Yeah, rage texting is kind of my journal, in a sense. And then Jax really says, she took my son away from me and she said she was going to bring him here and then reneged on it. And Zach's like, Brittany did not take your son away from you. She decided, I don't think I'm going to bring him. That's what happened. Because you uncovered cameras on your hour break that this random rehab allows you out of. You uncovered cameras. And then Jax goes, it's not random. It's, how dare you speak about my rehab facility? It's not random. It's a beautiful rehab, you know? And he goes, I'm sure I bet it's a fucking resort, Jax. Jax, you can tell, is just like rage is building. He's like, oh, my anger drug. Oh. Jax goes, I don't need aggressiveness, Kimosabi. Zach's like, am I being aggressive? He goes, moving forward, we're not talking about text. We're not talking about what I did 5 years ago. We're moving forward. I'm talking about 5 days ago, Jax. You had uncovered cameras that you had covered. She didn't notice. And we flash back to, what a weirdo. He's going to spy on me whenever he had covered it up the entire time. And then her mom was like, now he's blocked by Brittany. By the way, thank God Brittany has not made that t-shirt yet. But Zach points out, that's kind of shady, isn't it? And then Jax just goes, my house. My house. That I've not paid for. The mortgage. I wanted to go into foreclosure, but my house. My house. Even though Brittany's paid everything and took on my tax debt. My house. My house. In a talking head, Jax goes, I took down the covering of the cameras because I wanted to see what's coming into my house while I was away. I don't know who's coming in and out of that house. I don't want other men coming into my house. My son's there. So yeah, I was looking at the cameras. Make it stop. Do you think Jax ever gets tired of his own bullshit? Like, he's just like, I'm exhausted. And also, you know, with these talking heads, I sometimes wonder with the like producers and the camera operators, are they like, oh my God, this again? You know, like I always feel like we're about to get like a Jack Nicholson, A Few Good Men like moment. Like, you know, when Tom Cruise has Jack Nicholson on the stand in that movie, A Few Good Men, and it's like, I want the truth. And Jack Nicholson's like, you can't handle the truth. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Like, I always feel like Jax is at a breaking point where he's going to break. He's like, you're goddamn right. I uncovered the cameras and I do it again. I'm going to spy on everybody and I hate everybody and I hate Brittany and I hate Ryan Bailey and I hate his stupid podcast. I hate all the Bravo fans. Anyways, back in the scene, Jack goes, I'm not going to sit here and do this. I'm not going to waste my fresh Botox trying to make scrunchies on my forehead and fucking place needs rehab. I've seen videos of you, Zach, screaming and yelling and banging doors and all kinds of shit. And Zach's like, 1,000%. I go to therapy. And then Jack goes, fuck, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. Fine. Okay, I'm leaving. Zach in a talking head goes, all I need is for Jax to kind of admit that his behavior is why he is where he is. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what's so beautiful about humanity is like Zach nails it. And it doesn't mean, nor is Zach telling us that he is a perfect person. He is not a perfect person. We have seen examples of this. He is messy. He is all of these things. But in this situation, zeroed in. And was able to tell Jax really hard things. Unfortunately, Jax really doesn't think anything of Zach and probably never has thought anything of Zach. So it's like that weird messenger thing. And Jax goes, this is not a bash party of Jax. You weren't even invited. This is not what this is. And it's going to keep going this way. I'm not going to let you keep those swim trunks that with Brittany's face on them. I'm just going to walk. And Zach goes, well, then walk. There's the door. I mean, this is Jesse's house, but there's the door, I think. And Jack says, I'm going to talk to Brittany and then I'm going to go. Zach goes, well, Brittany doesn't want to talk to you. Well, that's none of your business. It's my business. It's my house. No, it's Jesse's house. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't like what you're bringing here, and I don't want you coming to my bar either. Uh-oh. Zach, a gay man, can't go to Jax's saloon. Oh no. Oh no. But Zach goes, okay, well, tell your partners that then, because they let me in. And then Jax said, well, you're not allowed to go anymore. That is not good business, Jax. Zach's like, okay, great. That's all I have to say to you. And Jax is walking out the back door and he goes, you act like it's your money in that bar, Jax. And then Jax goes, it is my money. And he goes, is it? Well, yeah, because Brittany made it for you. And then Jax hits us with, it's my show, my show, my show, my show, not yours. And then Zach goes, it wasn't for the past 30 days. And when Jax is furiously masturbating later that night, that line is going to like just probably go through it. It wasn't for the past 30 days, wasn't for the past 30 days, wasn't for the past 30 days. It's going to just repeat on a loop. But Jax has once again repeated the past. This is what the season that Jax got fired on Vanderpump Rules. That's what, remember in the scene in TomTom when Jax was talking with Lisa and he's like, this is my show. And finally Lisa woke up out of a stupor. No, dear boy, it's my show and Nicolane's show. And Ken, I can't believe Jax said his show. Like, remember that scene? And then Lisa was like, gave a huge monologue. It's about the people and you grow and you live. Like, Lisa was like sleepwalking through that season. And then Jax said, it's my show. And Lisa like snapped to. What did you say? But Jax, this is what is heartbreaking. Like, this is what Jax thinks, but it is not your show. And also, I know you and your manager, his name's Ryan Revel, I think, Revel. And he's been a really good manager to Jax, all kidding aside, and really been in Jax's corner. But I'm still confused because Jax doesn't have a producer credit on The Valley, even though he says him and Ryan, the concept was theirs. I'm so confused about Jax's ownership in The Valley. Maybe somebody can clear that up for me. So Jax, once that happened, Jax was like, he was going to talk to Brittany. He was like, Jesse, I'm going to take off. That was good. That was as much as I needed for now. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You know, it's, I don't need this. He's catty. I like pointing at Zach. He's catty. Don't like catty people. We didn't like him in Rehab. And Jesse's like, you knew it wasn't going to be easy, Jax. And you said you were going to eat humble pie. I did. But he was going after, I gotta go. Jax in a talking head says, it's very hard to not let my anger out right now. But I feel like I spent a lot of time and money and on myself on learning how to be a better person, how to talk, how to take a beat. Obviously, I love having the last word, but you know what? It's just not worth it. Just not worth it. Okay, so in a sense, he's saying this was growth. But as a viewer, I almost took that as he got bested by Zach in that situation and knew he didn't have a leg to stand on. But it is good that he pulled himself out of that situation. Because, yeah, we've seen many times when Zach's like, Pumptini, old man, get me a Pumptini. We've seen so many instances of Jax, not great in an argument, but his rage would carry him through. So look at me. I'm like, maybe this is good. I don't fucking know, you guys. Make it stop. Anyways, Jax walks out the door and Zach makes this move like, He like, So funny. Anyway, Zach opens the back door. He goes, okay, everybody can unclench their buttholes. Jax Taylor has left the building. Poor Benji. Benji was like, my butthole is already unclenched. What? What's going on? I just got here. My surprise party is so scary. A little addendum to that last scene was that Zach Wickham tweeted on September 5th of 2024, which is when this was filmed. He had tweeted that night, riddle me this. How is it possible you come out of rehab a worse person than when you went in? And then last night, he retweeted that with the caption, I told y'all. Jeez. Foot on his neck. Anyways, we are now at Jax's moving day. He's taking the lawn furniture. He's, just running all around and he's already bitching. He goes, she turned all of our pictures around. Oh my God, she never believed in our marriage. And he's saying, never thought at 45 years old I'd be doing this. We see Jax's golf cart his little toy out front. Jason Caperna walking up. Man, Jason, the amount of time, like he has a full-time job. He does the valleys with Janet, and then like he has a part-time job taking care of Jax. And then this is what breaks my heart, folks. If you watch this and you listen to the show, you already know what I'm about to say. I'm looking at garbage cans of memorabilia. There's a wooden sign in the garbage that says Jax's Man Cave, Valley Village, California, since 2019. Jax, this would have been great shit on your eBay page. And like, I hate to say this, I would have bought this for my reality show museum. Like, you just threw this shit out? Like, are you thinking clear at all? I mean, you have a fucking eBay page and you're just throwing this shit in the trash? I know you're trying to get out of there quick, but let's use our head. Jason hugs Jax, like freaking a big move, dude. Now, okay, this is what friendship is. Whether we approve of Jason's friendship with Jax, that's what friendship is, right? Jax tells him, I've been doing this since 6:30. He has a bunch of Wheaties boxes in his, these are probably commemorative Wheaties boxes. Anyway, Schwartz rolls up and oh my God, Schwartz, did you guys catch this? I spent like some of the scene going like, is he wearing what I think he's wearing? Is this the I mean, and I worry about this place all the time. So any advertisement, I guess, is good advertisement, but Schwartz pulls up and he's wearing a baseball hat and the baseball hat says soft bar. All right. Is this the publicity that Carl Radke's not opened yet bar needs? He's like, oh man, I want to get the word out, but maybe not in scenes with Jax. Oh man, but thanks for wearing it, Schwartz. I really know. I appreciate it. Soft bar. Wow. So Schwartz pulls up and Jason's like, hey, it's Jax's roommate. And Schwartz is like, no, don't put that out into the universe. Oh man. No, it's Jax's hassle castle and Schwartz's sanctuary, you know. I like, Jax does light up around Schwartz. Jason goes, so the sharing wall isn't like, do your bedrooms touch? No, Jason, dude, don't do this to me. No, is this really happening? Schwartz, I mean, what do you say about Schwartz? Like, this dude has now made a career out of having to not stand up for, but like just be around people that have made like insane mistakes. And, you know, we all make mistakes. I don't think at this level and on reality television, but like that's his sweet spot. Is like being the guy that you're like, well, Schwartz isn't as bad as Jax or Schwartz isn't as bad as Sandoval, you know, like, and Schwartz is just like, I mean, listen, and let's call it, Schwartz is getting paid for this as well. But Jax goes, I'm doing the thing I said I would never do. Apologize. No, he said, get fucking divorced. And we have a flashback to Schwartz when Jax's saloon sign got put up of like, it's only a matter of time until you're like divorced and moved in with me. Truer words have never been spoken. And Schwartz pulls up a framed thing of at their wedding, everybody signed things. He's like, dude, Jax, look at this. This was the best day ever. And they flash back to that Kentucky Castle wedding that they made us watch like 3 episodes of. And here's the thing. I am excited truly to see what Brittany does with this, you know, with this opportunity. And I don't think it's going to be nearly as big as Ariana. I think there is a different skill set. Like I said, I don't foresee Brittany hosting something. I could be wrong, but I will be curious to see what Brittany does with this. She's getting a lot of brand deals and she really is truly taking care of Cruz. She is the primary caregiver for a little young boy that is dealing with things. And she seems to be a great mother. So I am curious, but the thing is that I never rooted for Jax and Brittany as a couple. Because I thought, you know, Jax showed his stripes with Brittany really early on. And it, you know, it felt like he almost got weirdly guilted into going back with Brittany just because she forgave him for the whole Faith episode. So their love story never hit me in the way that it it hit for Brittany. And that's what I feel bad about. I feel bad that obviously she really believed in this as a love story. And I would think, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I feel like the majority of the audience didn't feel that this was the love story to end all love stories, right? And that's why it's like, yeah, okay. Anyways, Schwartz is like, sorry, man, not to rub it in. And then Jax goes, well, that wedding was expensive. I'd like to have that money back. I feel like we're moments away from him asking for one of the, Brittany's boobs. I paid for those. One is mine. And Schwartz is like, did you talk to Brittany at all last night? Or you guys? No, I didn't even see her. That's a lie. You saw her. I thought we were going to talk about Cruz last night. I've only been out of rehab for 2 days. I still haven't seen my fucking son. Yeah, we could clear that up real easy. Like I said, Jason could be an intermediary. I haven't even talked to Brittany. And Schwartz is like, reach out to... She's got me blocked on everything. I can't even talk to her. I'm going to write an email today. Later, I'm going to write an email. I'll be like, hey, listen, I didn't get to talk to you yesterday one-on-one, so... And Schwartz is like, yeah, that's a good idea. And a talking head, he goes, I don't really have a leg to stand on anything right now. I've done everything she asked, but yet, I'm still being punished. And unless you're a parent, I don't think you can understand how hard it is to be away from your little boy, your little girl. I'm missing milestones, and I just feel that it's just not fair. At this point, you guys know what I'm going to say, whatever. Anyways, Jason says, hey, Jax, I got a text from Brittany. Oh, you mean you can communicate through this guy? Let's do the son. He goes, I got a text from Brittany. She just asked, there's a computer. And then Jax goes, she has a computer. She's got a laptop. And Jason's like, she says she doesn't care if you eventually take it, but it's logged into a lot of her accounts. Just log out before. And Jax goes, I already took it, so I'll bring it back. And then Jason's like, where is it? Is it at your new place? And Jason's like, yeah, I bet it's not. I bet he has it with him. He could give it to her right now. But no. That's all she wants? What about Cruz? I'm a dad. And Jason's like, that's all she said. And then Jax goes, and then Jax changes the subject really quick. He's like, hey, let's do it off the computer. Hey, can you take those flags off the ceiling in the garage? Here's a step ladder. Yeah, I'm going to go hide the computer. And then Jason goes, Brittany texted me something else that she wants you to, what else does she want me to do? Log out of the cameras and leave the key. And Jax takes this in for a second. And he goes, I want her to, no, not until I see Cruz. I'm going to make it adversarial. I'm not doing any of it until I see Cruz. That's fair. Jason goes, I don't know. Say, Jason, hey, say, look at me. Say, he really wants to see Cruz. And Jason's like, I don't think it's a good idea. Right, Jason. And Jack goes, but I want to see my son. Schwartz is like, it sounds hostile. And Jason's like, it's just going to escalate things. It's going to make it more contentious. It's going to make it harder for you to see Cruz. And Schwartz is like, 100%. So these guys are like the good angel on Jax's shoulder, right? And Jax is like, she can't take away my son. I haven't done anything. She's not trying to take away, as that once been threatened. And then Schwartz goes, just say anything you want, done. Jason in a talking head says it's understandable that Brittany has trust issues with regards to leaving Cruz alone with Jax right now at this moment. And Jax is like, it just bothers me that it doesn't bother her at all. You can't speak to how Brittany feels. You learned that, and you had to have learned that. And that's basic therapy. And then Schwartz rightfully says, dude, her heart's fucking broken. And Jason's like, wait, you're really upset about this? Jason goes, wait, you don't think she's upset about this? And he goes, I don't think so at all. So Jax is looking for that scene for her to come crying back like, I love you. Because that's what she probably always did and buttered up his ego. And this dude has to stand on his own. And hopefully now he knows it. Jason says, I really wish that they will put all of this stuff going on between them aside and just do what's best for Cruz because it has to be affecting him. Schwartz is like, I know there's a little tiny part of her that still loves you, but you've made it. And then Jax goes, do not say little tiny. Do not say little tiny. And then she was like, okay, it's a big part. Jax goes, we have to be good friends over time. We have to be. I want to be able to get to a point like you. I'm dropping the dogs off, Katie. I'm going away for the weekend or whatever. I want to get there. And Schwartz is like, that all depends on how you handle yourself. Schwartz is a pussycat in terms of like Katie. Like, there's a reason why Schwartz is at a good place with Katie. I mean, Schwartz was on Watch What Happens Live, even complimenting her boyfriend. And I felt like he meant it. But Schwartz goes, listen, for the next like 6 months, a year, you've got to do everything right. Dude, that's so attainable. And then Jax goes, I have to. We have to. I have a son. And then Schwartz is like, you just can't go back to reptilian brain, Jax. And then the movers are like, hey, we're getting paid to move. Anyways, the Schwartz and Jesse are like, Schwartz and Jason are like, what do you want us to do? And he goes, that's why I hired movers to do all that shit. You guys are just here to stroke my ego. Yeah. Okay. So let's go over to the new place. All right. So we see this stuff, like all the final packing things, and Jax's big Ford truck gets pulled, we're driving over to the new place next to Schwartz's. And then we see, after they leave, a white Jeep pull up, and it's Brittany. And we flash to the trash cans again, you guys. And we see the big sign that says Couchy Homestead, like Jax's man cave garage sign. Like this sign, like, you just threw it away? Like, I know you're trying to make a statement or you're like lazy and you just need to get rid of it and you didn't want to do storage, but come on, man. eBay page. I would have swung by. If I would have swung by, grabbed this shit. Are you kidding me? A Couchy Homestead? Could you imagine that in the background if you're watching this on YouTube? How cool you would think I would be? Like, you're like, oh, that guy's a super cool podcaster. Couchy Homestead. But Brittany's like, oh, Couchy Homestead has been thrown away. Ugh. I hope Brittany took that. And then we see the other things, and she's like, oh, he threw away a photo of my dad? And it's Brittany's dad, framed photo with Cruz on his shoulders. Like, you threw that away? And she goes, crazy ass, idiot. So she finally walks into her home, finally, and Brittany immediately goes, oh, of course he uncovered the cameras again. Oh, so we're starting this bullshit again. And then Janet comes with like a bottle of wine and some supplies. And Brittany's like, hey, I'm just going through seeing what the hell's missing. It's not so bad. Not so bad. And Janet actually has her computer, thank God. And Janet's like, we can reset that. So thank God. Thank God Jax gave her back the computer. Brittany's like, what's the weirdest? I think is the garage. Look. I know, because they go out, it's empty. It's completely empty. And Brittany's like, this is the only thing that's really hitting me. Like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. And Janet's like, you're okay. Give me a hug. It's great to have friends. She's like, it's just weird. It is weird. Brittany says, seeing the garage empty like this is the weirdest part for me because we had pictures everywhere. We had jerseys everywhere. The golf cart's gone. And by the way, then they show a flashback to the golf cart. And this golf cart has like a red front to it. But the golf cart I saw earlier in the episode had a black front to it. Does this guy have 2 golf carts? Janet says, this is the one room I feel like that was like all Jax, the garage. Brittany goes, that I feel like has been the hardest thing for me to see right now. So she's crying, which is, she's like, I don't know why I'm crying. Of course you're crying. You just moved out of like, yes, the Maryland home. Of course you're crying. I mean, this shit really is hard, folks. It really is. No matter if we, Anyways, Brittany goes, he turned all the photos back around and rehung our wedding photo. I love it. Threw out the photo of my dad, but he returned around all the photos with his face and hung our wedding photo up. I mean, that is psychological torture in and of itself, and he knows that. So Brittany's like, the house as of right now is under both of our names, but I am taking the house. I am looking forward to like redecorating a couple things, changing all the locks, getting rid of the nasty shit that Jax has done there. I'm going to disinfect everything. I'm going to burn the sheets. I'm going to burn photos. I'll even let Kristen come over and do her ashy thing, whatever that's called. Because I just need to get rid of all the bad Jax juju. You'd have to burn the whole house down, Brittany. I'm joking. Janet says, Jason said today there was a couple of things like Jax was like, well, I'm not changing the camera passwords or doing this, or this until she lets me see Cruz. And they, I guess, Tom and Jason were both like, that's not how this is going to work. Do the right. By the way, they didn't say it with that tone. They just like, no, dude, you can do it this way. And then Brittany goes, I did hear them whenever I was spying. Yeah, I was live streaming. And so they have the inside cameras, but they also have the outsort camera, which does have sound. And so Brittany was, I don't know, you guys, this was the one little thing where I was like, Brittany, I mean, maybe if I'm in that situation, maybe I'm just trying to get all the information I can. But like, yeah, it's not, let's everybody not spy on anybody in this. Like, just clean break to a degree. But Brittany goes, you know what else is driving me nuts? Is how he's saying to everybody, Brittany's keeping my son from me. She's keeping my son from me. I'm sorry. You went and got a haircut. You got Botox. These are your priorities? You know I unblocked him on Wednesday. He has not reached out to me one time. In a talking head, she goes, I'm so done with Jack trying to make me look like the bad guy. He's not even tried to see his son. But yeah, it's going around, everybody lying to everybody. He always has to be the victim in his story, and it's insane. Now, did Brittany know this for their whole relationship, or did she just realize this now? She's had to have known this from the beginning, right? Which, by the way, doesn't make her wrong or a bad person. Anyway, she tells Janet that she filed for divorce. Remember, she told Doute the other night, but she told Janet. Janet hugs her. So that's good, right? Okay, and now we get to some fun stuff. Anyway, she's like, oh my God, I found another comment that he did to himself on his burner account. So it's underneath this thing that's like, Jax Taylor, ready to be number one guy in the group again. And he wrote, he's a legend about himself. And then somebody wrote back and said, in his own mind. It's so cringy. I love it. She's jumping up and down, so happy. In a talking head, Brittany goes, I've known that Jax has had this burner account, Frank Drebin, for a very long time. And they put up Frank Drebin on like a file folder with Jax's face. And Frank Drebin, when I first heard that, this is how sick my mind is, was my mind, because I watched this a couple of days before it aired, I was like, oh, that reminds me of Frank Drebin. And Frank Drebin is the character Leslie Nielsen plays in the Police Squad Naked Gun movies. I love, rest in peace, Leslie Nielsen, one of the greatest comic actors of our time. But on Watch What Happens Live, Jack said the same thing. He goes, no, it's the guy from Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen. But that guy's Frank Drebin, not Frank Drebin. And Jax got corrected halfway through Watch What Happens Live of like, the booth wants to let you guys know it's actually Frank Drebin. And Jax was like, well, I mean, you know, sorry. So he even screwed up the burner name. He was like trying to do Frank Drebin and he remembered it as Frank Drebin. That's only going to hit for a few people out there, but for the people that it hits for, it's going to hit hard. I was like, no way. Frank _Drebin_. Brittany's like, he told me about it, that was his account, that he would go and look at things. I don't know if he forgot that I knew about it, but underneath all these posts, all of a sudden I see Frank _Drebin_, and we see all of these comments pop up on screen saying 30 days equals 4 weeks. Maybe you need Rehab doll. And then another one says called clickbait, honey. I love this is his burner account and it's like speaks fluent Jax. And then another one says, not a fan of that new girl, ... She looks thirsty to be on TV. Who's that about? And then Frank Drebin, 30 days is more than a week. And then another one that says, people literally separate every day. So he would go into comment sections. And this is why when Jack says, I'm taking a social media break, don't believe him. Now, I was going to save this for the second part, but since I'm doing the second part on Friday, I'm going to give you a little treat now. Take this for what it is that the moment I saw this a couple days ago before it aired, I was like, you know what? Let me check out this account and see what it is. And it does exist. It still exists now, folks. But at the time, one sec. Oh, wait, okay. So at the time, he followed 26 people. Sorry, I was saying 200 people. He followed 26 people. And he had 2 followers. The 2 followers, whatever. But do you guys want to know who the 26 people were? So I screenshotted all of it. And by the way, he has deleted all of the follows. And now he only follows 2 people. One is eBay, LOL Jax, and one is like the Detroit Red Wings. And he's from Detroit. But those weren't two of the 26 people that he was following when this was an official burner account that only Brittany knew about. This is who he was following. The United Inventors Association, whatever that is. Hannah Burner. Okay, we know Hannah Burner. Pro Football Focus, whatever that is. Bravo TV. I also follow Bravo TV. He follows the Stern Show, Howard Stern Show. I also follow the Howard Stern Show. That's when I started getting scared. I was like, oh my God, what if we have like the exact same like people that we follow? Then he follows somebody, Fantasy Docs. Then some guy named Ivan Soto Wright, a guy named Patrick Carroll, and then an account led by his Word 02, which I think is probably like Bible passages. Then this guy, Alex Rios, a lady model, Mara Roldan, Roldan. And then this is one, Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder, who I believe is a right-wing YouTuber, if I'm not mistaken. Jared Robbins. And then, guys, this is the kicker. This account followed Lenny Hochstein from Real Housewives of Miami, Lisa Hochstein's ex-husband. Jax followed Lenny Hochstein? I was like, Jax watches Real Housewives of Miami, and then that's who he chooses to follow from the show. But then I was like, oh, maybe he follows Lenny because he's like the boob doc and Jax likes boobs. Who knows? Maybe Lenny gives Jax his Botox. I was so confused by that one. He follows a guy named Cy Waits. He follows Celebration Station OKC, Way Up Media, a guy named Chris Bumstead, Dr. Cameron Rochshire, Fine Art Installation, Nelson Montero Real Estate, Ploner, Ploner, Ploner Communications, Upper Hand Fantasy. Those were as follows. So, a lot of surprises there. I don't know, did I screenshot all of them? Because I thought there was another girl that I was like, oh, this looks like another model. Anyways. Yeah, but here it was. Frank Drummond, 26 followers. So that was it. I thought the Lenny Hochstein was the one that took me out the most. I was like, whoa, Jax. And then Brittany goes, oh my God, he accidentally DM'd me from it. Oh, she's cracking up. Oh, he said, please answer the phone like I did for you. Oh, I'm dead. It's like such proof that it's him. So he was even DMing Brittany from his burner accounts, right? And Janet goes, I'm so secondhand embarrassed for him right now. And Brittany's like, it's just so funny. Janet says it's equally cringy and sad because he's like sticking up for himself. I don't even know what to do with this, Janet says. You know, Jax is also like on the toilet. There's no way he's sitting on his toilet being like, he's a legend. He's a legend. Like, it's like, Jax, when you're done, look in the mirror as you're washing your hands, hopefully. And, you know, I don't know how this legend looks at himself in the mirror. Brittany goes, I don't want him to know that we know because I want to keep trolling him and just like keep talking about it. And so I'm like, well, we shouldn't have put this on camera. We could have seen how far Jax would go with this burner account. But now everybody knows. And Jax unfollowed those people and only follows 2 people now on that account. Maybe he'll follow more by tomorrow once word gets around more and more. So we are now at Danny and Nia. They're putting some kids down. I mean, they have like 8 or 10 kids at this point. Who knows? It's wild. It's crazy with these kids. So this next scene is we're over at Danny and Nia's, and it's all about having another kid and moving to Santa Clarita. But Nia got good news because she went into her fertility specialist, and she didn't like the last time her numbers didn't look good. And now she's got follicles everywhere, and they like show her at the place, and her like uterus is up on the screen, and it's like a beauty pageant queen uterus. Like the uterus is waving like a beauty pageant queen. And she has so many like follicles and everything looks amazing. And Danny's like, 402, we're not ready for that. Are you kidding me? We got to get into a new place. And he said, listen, we can talk about having a kid, maybe like the end of the year, start of the, new year. Now, I will say, spoiler alert, I've said this every week. They just had their baby last week and they have moved to Santa Clarita. So help me with this. What month I was like, thought we were in April. We're in June, right? And so if we use Zach's tweet of September of when that last scene was filmed. September. Okay, so September 5th, that tweet from Zach. Who knows when they filmed this? Let's say September 12th. September 12th. And they say at the end of the year, let's start trying then. So it takes 9 months to have a baby, right? So you got September, you got October. So that's 2 months, 3 months, November, 4 months, December, 5 months, January, 6 months, February, 7 months, March, 8 months. Okay, so basically it seems like they got pregnant in September or October. So yeah, there was no way. She was locking those knees again, locking the legs. Yeah, they didn't wait at all. Anyways, a doorbell rings and it's Luke. And Luke is there to kind of ask them a favor, right? And Luke's like, last night was eventful for you guys. And we flash back to the Janet-Nia conversation about Danny getting blacked out and making, women uncomfortable. It's going to get talked about. And Danny's like, I wanted a chance to apologize, Luke, but when she had a conversation with Nia last night and didn't let Nia really say anything and just said horrible, horrible, horrible things, Luke goes, it does seem like they have it out for you guys for some reason. And he's like, can we not talk about misery anymore? Because I feel like Luke is at our house and we have like a private moment, and Dana's like, this is what I was hoping for. And Nia's like, there's more exciting things to talk about. Tell us, Luke, where are we at? And Luke said, we're going to Maui. Okay. And Nia says, originally Daniel was asked to be part of the proposal and a part of the planning of it. And we flash back to the Kyle Chan ring scene, right? And Nia says, now that I know, I am honored that Luke would also include me. And Nia says, the snorkeling is incredible. Like turtles are just everywhere. It's like magic. We love Luke and Kristen as a couple, Nia says. So it's very special to be a part of their special day. Luke says, I set a lot up, but I need this to be your guys' trip so that I'm not constantly questioned like why or how is this your trip? And Nia's like, we'll do the invites. It'll be our trip. It'll be secretly your trip. It'll be our trip. Luke in a talking head says, Danny and Nia are a good Christian couple. They aren't liars by any stretch of the imagination. And maybe that's why, if we're to believe what people are saying, that Danny gets blackout so he can get away from the good Christian ways. So he doesn't remember the bad things he does. Who knows? Luke says, the weird thing is I need you guys to invite me and Kristen as well. So Luke is doing this distraction to get Detective Doute off the scent. Smart, Luke. This is very smart. And by the way, if this truly, and Luke said he believes she was truly surprised. And if she was truly surprised, I wonder if Doute's like, now I got to keep a real eye on him because he fooled me once. He might be able to fool me again. So basically, we're going to have a cast trip where Luke proposes to Kristen. And remember, Jax is not invited on this trip. And what I hear is that Jax is not in a lot of the remaining 5 episodes. But we will see. And who knows? Maybe they're re-editing based on the audience's reaction where he's in it like 0. But we do know he's in the full reunion, right? So basically the plan is he's going to be like, oh, look, there's a whale blowing things out of its blowhole water, And then Kristen's going to look and she's going to turn around and he's going to be down on one knee. And then he goes a step further because this rings from Kyle Chan is that he goes, it's perfect. So Kyle Chan is going to watch my geckos and lizards. And I was like, Luke has a bunch of geckos and lizards? And Kyle Chan is going to be like, that's a spinoff right there. And that's when he's going to get the ring. I think they meant that Luke has the geckos, not Kyle. Who knows? There's geckos and lizards. Who knows? But they say, I don't know if he has snakes. And then they make a comment about Janet because like Janet's a snake. LOL. Okay, so we're in our final scene. Thank God. Jax is setting up his new man cave. By the way, this seems like a really nice place. This guy is balling. Now, a really horrible choice in clothing. We have the Jackson Studio City hat. Okay, we're used to that. But what he's wearing, his black hoodie says Violent Gents Hockey Club. Hockey club, not a problem. But Violent Gents is not the message. It's like your messaging is so out of whack. It's like alcohol on the top, violence on the bottom. Like, what? Are you trying to send a hidden message, or are you just was this accidental hoodie? Like, we saw you in the Jackson Studio hoodie. Like, why didn't you wear the hoodie and the hat like you always do? Anyway, Schwartz walks in with like a big terrarium, like a big flower. Like, he's like, I'm Schwartz and my magic marigolds. He's carrying all of these flowers. Like, this is a white orchid. It's a symbolic of new beginnings and some other shit that I don't know. If he really wanted to freak Jax out, he would be like, Joe, go visit Jax. Hey, Jax, it's me, Joe. Anyways, Jax is going to see Schwartz's, Jax is going to show Schwartz the place. They go upstairs. It's 2 stories. And we have Cruz's playroom. It's completely empty, but it's cute. And then Jax is like, he got his own bathroom. He's got a walk-in closet. I didn't have this until I was 40. That might be the darkest line of the whole fucking episode. I didn't have a fucking bathroom until I was 40. And then Schwartz is like, that's as big as our first apartment. And Jax is like, ha, 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 ha. We go to Jax's room. There's just clothes all over the floor. I mean, it looks like he took the hefty bags and just dumped them on the floor instead of the closet. And Jax is like, yeah, I got to work on this. I'm going to work. This is going to be top of the list. And then talking to him, he goes, it's been 10 years since I lived by myself. So I'm excited. I'm nervous. Schwartz is just walking around the apartment going, I can't believe this is real. You could take that as like happy, but you could also take it as scared shitless. Like, how did I get here? It's like Talking Heads. How did I get here? Letting the days go by and the water hold me down. Jack says, so living with Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz back in the day was a lot of fun. Going on auditions and going to bars with girls and balling them all together. It was like a frat house. It's definitely my dream scenario. And then they go outside. This fucking outside area has got a whole flipping big old grill and the patio furniture you took from the house. And then we see that Schwartz's like patio is like truly is right next to Jax's patio. And Schwartz is like, you can't cross this boundary, Jax. No. Jax says, just got out of rehab trying to rebuild myself. I need somebody there to talk to lean on. And I can't think of a better person other than Tom Schwartz to do that. I mean, he's my best friend. So Jax is now laying on the patio furniture. He goes, this is where I'm going to come up here, think about my thoughts. This is my thought thinking chair. Big old thoughts. Going to send my rage text from this chair right here. Anyways, we get a doorbell ring. It would be funny if it was Joe. And Joe was serving Jax. Hey, it's me, Joe. Is Schwartz here? Anyways, you've been served, Jax. Jason Couchy. Anyway, Schwartz is watering his plants like from like the bottom floor from the top floor. Jax is walking down the stair, goes, oh my God, these stairs are going to fucking kill me. Oh, my knees. Anyway, Schwartz is upstairs going, I like the stairs. Keeps you young. What a positive guy. We see that Jax even has a little workout room. This place is huge. Anyways, this guy, like a process server, is like, hi, Mr. Couchy? Yes. Mr. Couchy, you've been served. And then Jax goes, oh, yeah, my pod, our podcast. It's my pod. Okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you. Okay. So obviously these are divorce papers, right? The other thing is, if you remember back in the day when this season was filming, it made all the blogs and TMZ and all this stuff that that Jax was served, but they didn't get it on camera and they needed to re-serve him on camera. So I don't know how real this scene is. It could be completely real, but you also have to think like they brought Schwartz into this scene and those things, they're scheduled out. Remember, these people are mic'd up. So it is interesting that Schwartz is there in property when he gets these divorce papers. So who knows what the reality, I mean, this is real that he got divorce papers, but who knows what the reality of this is? I don't know, you guys. Just wanted to let you know. So anyways, he's like texting something on his phone and Schwartz is like, what is that, dude? Did you get served? And Jax goes, I did. And Schwartz goes, divorce papers? I was joking. And Jax goes, yeah, as he's looking at the papers. And Schwartz is like, oh man, I was fully joking. Can I see it? And then Schwartz is reading it and it's like, new clear boundary established. Intent to proceed amicably and out of court as expeditiously as possible. And Jax goes, what? With minimal cost to both parties. And Schwartz is like, dude, this is great. And Jax is like, this is great, right? And he goes, I like the amicably part. I like the, and then Schwartz is like, expeditiously? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? I felt like they're about to break into a song right here. But he goes, expeditiously and out of court is huge. In terms of like divorces, that's a love letter. Okay, we got a new dark line of the episode. In my experience, that's a love letter. And Jax goes, so I just signed that right now and can send it back? I love that Jax wants to hop on this. He won't give Brittany the RSS feed to the podcast. He won't pay the mortgages, but he's like, you put the old John Hancock on there? Oh, yeah. And then Jax goes, why do they say you've been served? What does that mean? Is that, And Schwartz like, it's a formality. Why can't you just give me the paperwork and I'll sign it and I'll go back? Like, it sounds like somebody's trying to sue me, Jax is now trying to find ways to be mad about this. Then Jax goes, we were together for 10 years. Schwartz goes, you're both great people, but you're in different places in your life. You no longer bring out the best in each other. I love Schwartz's like his little Rolodex in his head of like things he can say to his friends that have done wrong. You no longer bring out the best in people. You're both good people. You need different things. In your instance, you might bring out the worst though. And then Jax goes, yeah, this is the best case scenario. It's literally the best case scenario. The custody thing's a little rough, but you can. And then Jax goes, what does the custody say? I love that Schwartz read it Schwartz comprehended the papers immediately. And Jax is like, wait, what? What is it? What custody's in there? And Schwartz is like, you might want to read that. I don't know. I mean, that looks scarier than it actually is, I think. And then Jax is like, as long as I get to see we switch on and off. Yeah, you're going to get to see your son. In a talking head, Jack goes, I don't know what any of this means. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what full legal custody means. Now, I know that sounds silly. Like, how could you not know what that means? But is that is it okay, full legal custody, this is what it means? Like, is there bullet points? That means this, that means this. Dude, the internet is your friend. It's not, you can do the burner accounts. That's fun on it too. But also just read, knowledge is power. Google is your friend. All of the things that I tell my parents or my dad. But then Jack says a very honest line. He says, I was a fucking terrible husband. Good father. I'm a great father. Terrible husband. Terrible husband. And Schwartz is like, yeah. And then Jack says I'm going to have a child of the divorce, man. And then Schwartz is like, can you imagine if you guys tried to stay together another 10 years with him growing up? He goes, it'd be awful. Dude, he would fucking run away. He'd definitely be smoking weed, acting like his dad. And then he goes, just kidding. Oh my God. And Jack goes, no, I don't want him to act like me. And then Troy goes, oh shit, dude. And he pulls up his phone and the closed captioning in parentheses goes, dramatic sting. And the music's like, ding. And we see headlines. Vanderpump rules, Brittany Cartwright files for divorce from Jack Taylor after 5 years of marriage. And Schwartz is reading it. Brittany Cartwright files for divorce from Jax Taylor. And Jack's like, how did that happen? In a talking head, imagine coming out of a facility, okay? Dealing with your mental health issues and then being slammed with divorce papers. Then on top of it, it's going public before you even have the time to digest it. Think about that for a second. Okay, I'm going to think. Let's think together. Okay, yeah, I thought about it. Okay, see what I thought, and let me know what you guys thought. Yeah, that's hard, but what you're going through is hard. And unfortunately, you are also a minor celebrity on top of that. So, yeah, it's going to hit all of that shit. Period, point blank, end of story. You're not going to be able to hide that. And even if somebody wasn't tipped off, we have people now like TMZ, they're looking for shit in LA, records, right? But Jack goes, it's hard. It's fucking hard. Back in the scene, he goes, I don't even want to look at my phone. And then Schwartz is like, don't open Instagram. He should have been like, Frank Drebin, do not go there. And don't look at the comments, Schwartz says. Good God. And then Jack goes, thank God you're here, man. Appreciate you being here because I tell you, if I didn't have people, I would not be in a good place. I might start a cover band. That's where I might be if I didn't have you. And anyways, then this sad music, oh. Back to Jackson's talking head, getting these divorce papers, it's devastating. we're both so hurt and we both hurt each other so much in the last couple of years. Wait, how did Brittany hurt Jax in the last couple of years? Are we still like just this guy after they're separated that Jax knew? Is that the hurt, or is there more hurts that Brittany did? But he goes, all of the arguing and all the fighting and all the, I'm going to do this and you're going to leave, I'm going to divorce. Anyways, he tells Schwartz, it's going to be all right. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Back in the talking head, we don't really have anything left. And so Jax is still kind of taking it in. Wow. Oh, God. Okay. Wow. And then we get the line of all lines, folks. Jax in a talking head says, it's safe to say, these are no longer the best days of our lives. I hate to let you know this. We haven't said that about this show in years. Years, Jax. Even, season 6 of Vanderpump. We say it on this podcast in a joking way, but nobody said this. And was that your idea to say that, or did the producers want you to say that? That's my big question, right? Anyways, they end it with a great, if you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, call the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration helpline, 1-800-662-HELP. That's 4357. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7, which is a very important message that should have been placed at the top of the show. Please, I'm begging any reality show to put these messages at the front and the back of each episode. I think it just would help so much. Okay, so then next time on The Valley, and we have Jax meeting with Jesse's life coach saying, I'm very angry. I'm an angry human being, and I take it out on everybody else, especially my wife. We know he's about to give him a pillow to scream in. And then we see Doute at a Mexican restaurant with like Nia and Janet, and Doty's like, I'm being disrespected as fuck right now, and I'm not having it. I'm out. And then Janet goes, see ya. Get your to-go box. Oh, man. And then Nia gets up and goes, fuck you, and like walks out. And then we see Aloha. I wonder if Jack couldn't go to Hawaii because he's not allowed there because of like stealing the sunglasses from that sunglass hut. Do you remember that when he got arrested? Anyways, they're in Maui. I guess this happens next week's episode. Everybody's in the pool. Brittany comes out. Party's here. And then Janet apologizing, I think, to Nia, saying, I want to apologize. I had way too much to drink, Janet says. And which, by the way, that is a bizarre line, like for Janet to say, I'm sorry I had too much to drink when she's complaining about Danny having too much to drink, but maybe I haven't seen the episode yet. But I do want to apologize. I had way too much to drink. And then Nia goes that early in the night, so holding Janet's foot to the flame. And then Jesse talking to Aaron, the hot honey man. Jesse goes, did you or did you not cross a line when I was married to Michelle? And then this guy, Aaron, seems like he's like, zoinks! Ooh! His eyes are like so wide. He's like, ooh! And that is the end, folks. Oh my God, we did a 2.5-hour episode, and I was going to do a part 2. I'm going to do a part 2, but it'll be Friday, but we'll also include stories about Karen Reed, Paige DeSorbo, Love Island, all of that. And then Saturday, you got me and Bergie for Love Island USA, and there was no new episode tonight, so thank God. This has legitimately taken me 5.5 hours. You guys, sorry for a long one. This reminds me of the Sandoval days, and that's not a good thing. So take care of each other, love each other, no hate. Bye.